The Grinding Gear Podcast, episode 2, records live in 3, 2, 1.
Like, Scoob, when they said fixing, I thought they meant like fixings on a sandwich. Right over my rice knuckles.
Welcome and/or welcome back, everyone. This is the Grinding Gear Podcast, number 2. I'm not used to having episode numbers so low. So low, in fact, that I take notice of them because we don't usually even bother mentioning episode numbers on podcasts. But hi, I'm Garrett, here, as always, with Kyle. We're back. We're back to talk news. We got a new first-time ever segment for you today. I'm not going to give away that goose just yet. We've got what games we're playing to talk about, and we got loads, and I do mean loads of Q&A. We may not even get through all the questions, which I want everyone to know. Good golly, Miss Molly, the first week turnout for this new show has been fan-freaking-tastic. We ended up charting on every single podcatcher I took a look at, including my personal favorite, Pocket Cast. I have never seen myself charting on Pocket Cast before, so that was really cool. So thank you for that. Thank you to all of our new patrons supporting us over at supportourbromance.com. It's pretty nutty. So yeah, if you're sending your emails in and we haven't used it, know that we're saving them. We will get to them. So
great opportunity for a mailbag thingy, some sort of bonus thing, perhaps that could happen.
Ooh, yes. And also, hello to our live chat, because this episode is the first of many live streamed episodes to come, and we are moving. If you are used to Kyle and I podcasting live, you are used to us doing it on Twitch, but we have moved this over to YouTube because that's where Grinding Gear lives. If it's got GG in its title and it's related to the two of us, we're going to do it over on the YouTube channel. So, hi. Chat, how you doing today? Seeing some Zelda emojis, seeing some familiar faces. But yeah, we're gonna do the podcast live. Gonna have a live chat. Gonna hang out.
And there's gonna be video features, visual aids and such as we talk through things. So look forward to it, everybody who's in the live chat. Otherwise, if you're catching this on podcast, it'll also be, as you know, audio friendly. So you won't be missing anything in that regard. It's great to be here playing video games. Lots and lots of video games. Just the news this week, man. I'm ready. Let's dive into this just pile of weird.
Good. Oh, great news, everyone. Shove it.
Hey, Kyle, I got a question for you.
Oh, yes?
What's the most money you've ever spent on a video game?
Okay.
Like a single video game. And I don't mean the price of the game to begin with.
Right.
Is it WoW because of the subscription? Is it Hearthstone because you blew thousands upon thousands of dollars? What game have you spent the most? And do you even have a slight idea how much money you spent?
Man, I have to do math. The subscription one is a toughie, because that would have been 3 years of college. So you got 36 times 15. So that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. Here's the Storm did a thing where, as a content creator for a time, you had to purchase the hero with real money in the beta, which means you didn't have your live currencies of a free-to-play game in that environment. So you had to spend real money, even though you played the game enough to be a free-to-play player because you were creating content. You had to go into the beta and purchase it with real money. Now, eventually, luckily, one of the community managers there kind of was like, oh, geez, we should fix this, and started handing out codes, and things got quite a bit cheaper. But that got expensive, too, buying every single one of those heroes. We'll talk about a free-to-play game later on in the show today with a similar model.
I have to imagine it's Hearthstone for me. I've probably spent, thousands upon thousands of dollars. I wonder if it's over 10. I'd bet. I would actually be surprised if it was over $10,000.
Wait, how long have you been doing that show?
Since 2013.
Okay. Oh, so that's 1,000 a year. And
Started playing in beta. See, it's up there.
how many?
It's up there.
How many expansions per year for that game?
3. And the last 2 years, they also had mini sets which were what, $20 a pop?
Okay.
Plus Battlegrounds. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you ever
Lot of
buy
money,
anything
though.
in that Raid Shadow Legends mode they made?
Oh God, no! I hated Mercenaries. I hate everything about that thing, man. I will say when it originally came out, I was like, this is better than I thought it'd be, but it sucked. Anyway, Kyle, neither of us has spent $100,000 on a game, and that is what one dude did in Diablo Immortal, and now that player can't find a match.
He's
too
so
overpowered.
hilarious.
His win rate has gotten too high. So if you have missed this story, it's been reported multiple places, but Kotaku actually got a response from Blizzard, and so that's the story we're looking at today. This came to us via Kotaku. If you want to see the full article, it is titled Diablo Immortal Player Says He Can't Get a Match After Spending $100,000.
Oh
What the hell?
What a dark future. So back when Diablo Immortal first came out, which was really weird, because Diablo Immortal directly followed the Johnny Depp trial. So like all of the content creators, no, it's true. Like this.
How are you going to connect this?
All the content creators that were covering Diablo Immortal had way inflated audiences because they'd invaded the normie spheres of Johnny Depp trial. Like Asmongold, for instance, was a huge YouTube celebrity across like all genres because people love their generic, on point kind of character that Asmongold plays, covering the Johnny Depp trial. So then Diablo Immortal happens, and tons of people are watching this content, video game content, for the first time ever, and as such, my algorithm on YouTube was awful. Which means I was exposed to everybody who possibly did Johnny Depp trial stuff, who also played video games. So anyway, long story short, I ended up watching, I think Rich Campbell is their name, and they were laughing maniacally. I've never seen someone be such a supervillain in a video game. They had spent, I think, about $5,000 at that point. And you know how you can get kind of giggly when you're ahead in like a MOBA, or maybe you're geared up in World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I follow you.
Imagine having that like day 3. Like none of that respect, none of that back catalog of like, man, that person got owned, but yeah, I put 2 years of work in this character. Like just losing it in maniacal laughter.
Yeah.
Because you did. It was PvP, and you absolutely destroyed. It was 1v10. Everyone was targeting you. Just barbarians running in, whirlwinding like no play, no skill involved. Just bulldozing the enemy team.
Raw stats. I'm murdering you with my money.
Yeah. And so we find ourselves here.
Diablo Immortal came out, I think, on the second day I had COVID, which was the first day of me having a fever. So I was out. I was so out and incapable of really much of anything. So I played it and I was like, oh, they made a real ass Diablo. And then I was advertised to so much in like the 2 days I played it. I haven't touched it since. There was a hot second where I was like, man, that's a really well-made game.
Yeah.
And it just won't leave me alone trying to get my money, and it really annoyed me. But really, for me, was the end all be all was, day one. I'm sick of COVID. I'm playing this game. I'm having a good enough time. I'm like, I like battle passes. I'll pay for the battle pass. That battle pass was terrible. It's the worst battle pass I've ever experienced. It gave you basically nothing, and it rarely ever actually. It took a lot of freaking grinding to like get to the next level. It really sucked.
You were supposed to buy the empowered battle pass. I actually just got an email here. Live.
Oh, right now?
Yeah, right now from Blizzard. Become empowered and beyond, or embody justice. So they're doing like a Tyrael kind of armor set. Season 3 now available. Like since the launch, they've already gone into 3 seasons.
No,
Because you're hauling ass. It's the same thing Pokemon Unite did. Like they went through seasons so fast that there was no way for a casual player to get that battle pass completed without purchasing boosts. And the system worked. Like, I was very tempted to do it because I wanted that Gengar space skin while I was playing that pretty heavily. The design in Pokemon Unite, like the game itself, was really, really good. And because of a multiplayer system, I don't really mind free to play as much because once I'm in the game, yeah, there's like a billion menus and there's all these prompts, but like once I'm in the game, you leave me alone. And that's why I couldn't take Diablo Immortal, because I was in the game. I wasn't even in town. Like, just advertise me in town, have town criers yelling about it. I'll just avoid town and I'll stay out in the world. I'll never shop or anything. But you just couldn't avoid it. 800% value.
Okay, at least you know now that if you had the power or the income to drop 6 figures on this game, you would be rewarded with no matchmaking because you're too overpowered in win rate, and your win rate is too high.
To be fair, the same thing happens for grandmasters in all games. Like, you climb high enough, you're going to have matchmaking issues.
Yes, it's not. That is like you're comparing apples to an arms race.
Oh, yeah, no,
it's very different. It's very different, Kyle.
Yeah, skill-based apples versus, space tracking apples. But yes, no, I get your complaint. I'm merely saying that this is a problem for all things. Like, when we get skill and now money involved, it's fallen into the same exact pitfall.
They had to have seen this coming, right? Like, there's going to be extreme whales that just bloat themselves with so much high quality stuff through sheer dollars that it balloons them past the point of what other players can catch up with. And how do you reconcile that? Because suddenly this is such a far end of the extreme, right? Because you and I were sitting on the sidelines going, this is such a money grubbing game. I have no interest in it. We didn't stop to consider what do you do when someone willingly gives you a truly ridiculous amount of money? How do you keep that player happy? Because, like, listen, my opinion on this is a money grubbing game that isn't worth your time is irrelevant. If someone gives you 6 figures, you should probably give them something in return. Like, I don't know, a match.
It's so extra dirty because you involve PvP in it, though. Like, I love the way Final Fantasy XIV does PvP. It's this removed MOBA-like space where your abilities are entirely fresh, no gear influence at all. Yes, if you played the game more, you'll probably be better, and you've probably read tooltips more, and you have a greater impact. But ultimately, that extreme high of gearing in like World of Warcraft PvP has been dismissed, for better or for worse. Like, both have their advantages. I totally get, like, you got your resilience set on. I don't think they have resilience anymore in World of Warcraft, but you're all geared up, you're immune to stuns, your trinkets on lower cooldown than someone else, like, you feel so rewarded, you put in more and more time. In the same vein, it works in the same exact vein. You lose a match, you go, man, that sucked. I'm gonna go grind. I'm gonna go hit the grind. I'm gonna go, maybe I'll even do that weird raid that drops some gear that's really good for PvP because I read a guide. But here it's just money. It's like, oh, I lost. What can I do? And the game's like, well, I know what you can do. You can pay for a loot box. It's so insane. You've seen that the rift system in Diablo Immortal, right?
Yes.
Where it is a loot box. You just have an activity before the loot box happens.
Don't you want to adventure through your loot box? What if your loot box tried to kill you? Which actually, frankly, on paper, kind of a cool idea.
It's asinine. It's so insane. It's vulgar. The idea of bypassing loot box legislation, which didn't work for some countries anyway. They're just like, get out there. It's still mired in, like, you can't even get it Diablo Immortal in China yet because possibly a tweet, but also, like, when you kind of read into it, it kind of seems like they just don't want it in general. They would have found any excuse if they could have.
I don't know. It's weird, but hey, it seems to be a success. Seems to be making money. Good for you. I'm uninterested. Games like this exist. Sadly, it's a studio we used to really, really like making this one.
When you get into chasing money, though, of that level, I don't even think you should be making a video game. You should make movies. Like, movies are the way that you look at your money and you say, hey, can I turn $1 million into 20 million? It's like, yeah, let's do it. Come on.
Well, I believe Warner Brothers just turned $90 million into nothing by canceling Batgirl. So do we really want to go down that road?
I don't know. All I know is, like, people are tweeting GIFs of, like, how they hid the USB up their butt while they escaped the... I do not... Listen.
Wait, what?
I don't tweet very well.
What are you talking about?
I do not understand Twitter. at this current development.
I don't understand what you just said.
So all I know about Batgirl is that people are tweeting GIFs of like Edgar from MIB with the tagline, "Me trying to escape Warner Brothers headquarters with the USB of Batgirl up my butt." And that's like my exposure to this news. Is people are trying to steal Batgirl. And then I guess they cancel other things. But Twitter has a big problem right now. And that's the whole retweeting gives exposure, so we don't retweet anymore. We just tweet the thing, and people just tweet out like, "Wow, that sucks." And I'm supposed to be like, "Yeah, sure does." And I'm not going to research. Like, someone walks in a room and it's like, "Oh, I'm 35 now." I'm like, "Tough day, huh?" And I go back to what I was doing. I don't have time to dive in and develop your storyline for you. So what's going on with Batgirl? Why is it?
Oh, I don't want to go down that full road. You mentioned movies. And I'm like, Kyle, I'm not sure that's actually a perfect example right now because things are a little nutty. And HBO Max is supposed to be laying off a ton of staff according to some leaks. It hasn't actually come to pass as far as I know at the time of recording this. It's all a big rumor, but there's a lot of fear mongering and concern and panic around all of the entertainment media that's coming out of these streaming outlets because of essentially a lot of people looking at it like, if HBO and Warner Brothers can't make it work, what hope is there for anyone? So I digress.
Okay.
I would like to move on from talking about truly ridiculous, absurd things that involve Blizzard Entertainment and instead move on to how Blizzard apparently canned a standalone mobile World of Warcraft.
Right. After 3 years of development, that's not a huge deal, right? They can't think
in the world of Blizzard, this is actually maybe the most classic Blizzard thing I've heard in a while. This sounds like old school Blizzard to me. Hey, let's drop a bunch of money on something that might actually be cool and then murder it in the night before anyone even sees it. But yeah, this comes to us from Bloomberg of all places. If you want to see the full article, it is titled Blizzard, NetEase scrap a Warcraft mobile game after financing dispute. And yeah, the TLDR on this is that apparently Blizzard and NetEase were working on a mobile World of Warcraft MMO. It was codenamed Neptune. It was in development for over 3 years, but it wasn't a direct port of World of Warcraft. It was a spin-off set in the same universe, but in a different or more distinct time period.
Distinct.
Well, I don't. That's my word. Don't quote me on that.
Oh, okay.
A different time. Where? Let me find it exactly here. If I can find the quote. It wouldn't be a direct translation of the popular online game, but a spin-off set during a different time period, is the quote from the Bloomberg piece.
So made up space for video game to exist where we bring back Deckard Cain because everyone hated he died to butterflies and whatever. Oh, your favorite characters appear. You can pay them.
That was called Draenor, Kyle, and no one liked that either.
I still think Draenor was kind of cute. I don't know. I immediately had pushed back against time travel.
You and I disagree on that. Yeah, I think you like, funny enough, Draenor more than me. Did you even play Draenor?
Not any rating or anything like that. I just thought as a solo player completely for that one, that Garrison was a interesting experiment. But mainly I like the way they presented bosses. I really like getting in the game and having my villains, what's it called? Gallery, Rogues Gallery. My Rogues Gallery very apparent and knowing exactly what I was going to fight. I get a little burnt out on there's another threat, and people love to put that title on World of Warcraft. There's always another threat. Expansion based, I hate it more when you down Illidan and it's like, by the way, the sun, and you're like, what about the sun? Well, no, the trailer showed we would defeat Illidan. Make it last. Don't add on the back end. And I know like content, but particularly that was really bad in BFA. That was probably the most atrocious and then I think they've ever pulled. Because the and then was way more interesting than the original battling for Azeroth. No one actually battled anything. It should have just been battle against N'Zoth, and I would have been way more interested. So anyway,
listen, hey, dude, there's so many things I want to go off on there. I have a lot of thoughts on everything that just left your face hole. But I didn't even see this headline. You were the one who was like, "Hey, did you see this?" And I was like, "No." So yeah, this is just weird. Blizzard's weird, man. It's such a understatement to say Blizzard is weird right now.
Yeah, they're struggling. It's
like, and my interest is in a weird place. Like I'm personally very ready to revisit Wrath of the Lich King when Classic drops. Like, cool. Dragonflight, I don't know. I think it looks kind of cool. I'm not in the beta.
Dude, I'm in full blown like vacuuming my lawn mode. Like the cops are outside, the neighbors are fighting, and I'm just ear glued to the wall.
Oh,
It's
okay.
such a mess over there.
I was gonna go with popcorn, but okay, you're going for shared wall space.
Yeah, popcorn is when it's in your house or on your screen. No, this I feel like I'm invading someone else's space and privacy by even talking about Activision Blizzard at this current stage.
I mean, if you want to get real domestic about it, both me and my neighbors walked out of our house the other night because someone was having such a loud party, and so we were both just out in the driveway looking down, just like, what are they doing down there? Sounded like a scene from Fast and the Furious. Like the reggaeton was like real loud and the bass was thumping. It was fun music though.
You can't not listen. There was one in particular. This is years ago now, but out the window we heard full volume. I was gonna propose to you. I was gonna propose to you.
No.
And drop everything, turn off everything, turn out the lights. Like we were there. And I bet you every house in that complex was dead quiet.
You're one of those.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna judge you. I would have done the same.
Dude, we're literally gonna talk about multiverses today because I took my son to the park and the teens there were talking about multiverses.
Oh shit!
This is the thread,
okay.
man. The kids are talking about it. The kids are talking
All right.
about it.
All right.
And
But
it's
hey,
front
you
page
know
of
what?
Steam,
You know what multiverses isn't though.
Activision Blizzard getting dumped on by Microsoft?
I was going to say a single player game, but I forgot about that. That's right. You also informed me of this, that I think this was due to UK scrutiny of the Microsoft Blizzard merger. But Microsoft's defense was that Activision Blizzard doesn't make any must-have games.
Yeah, so the Chamber of Commerce for New Zealand started being like, we're not sure about this. And Microsoft jumps in like, don't worry, Blizzard doesn't make good games. It's not a big deal. Now, in particular, the storyline, you may have heard about the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard and the huge $6 to $8 billion, or I guess, why is it in, that's in maybe New Zealand monies there. 56 billion? Why is that in parentheses?
Well, this is rock, paper, shotgun, so
Yeah.
I don't know why there's a parenthetical there.
Purchase of Call of Duty publisher. So basically, Call of Duty is the one that everyone on the outside has been like, hang on a second, you can't buy Activision Blizzard, they make Call of Duty. And Sony in the past has had exclusive deals with Activision and Call of Duty to get certain benefits on Sony consoles. So Sony in particular is saying, wait a minute, you purchasing Call of Duty is too much. They are a monopoly on shooters, and you will own too many shooters. We can't allow this. So Microsoft's genius response is to downplay everything Blizzard's ever made and basically say they're not that big of a deal. And in such a way, Call of Duty, it ain't that big of a deal, guys. There are no must-haves.
All right, so this is kind of funny if I don't think about my friends that still work there, because this has got to suck. This is just, you got to put your arms up and go, what the F?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if you wake up and you read this headline, this is just got to be like, oh, come on now. But it's, goddamn, it's funny. I hadn't thought about that. They would have quite the stranglehold on the shooter market.
I guess Halo, right? And then they have Call of Duty and Overwatch.
They own Bethesda now as well, who are tied in with Doom.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think
and
about
id
that
Software. So yeah, like, God,
Space
what
game
shooter
was
does
so bad?
What shooter does Sony have? Do they have a shooter anymore? They don't do Killzone anymore.
Oh, Valorant's going on the Game Pass too, possibly, if that deal goes through with Riot.
Well, they're already doing a Riot cross promotion.
I thought it was still up in the air. Did that go through?
Oh, was it up in the air?
Yeah.
I thought that was already going.
I know we were freaked out about it in the Heroes of the Storm sphere because our big hope at that time was that Microsoft would buy Activision, possibly reinvigorate Heroes of the Storm, everyone's favorite MOBA, And then before that deal goes through, they make this deal with Riot in order to get League of Legends on the Game Pass.
Well, now it seems like they really should reinvigorate Heroes of the Storm if the entire thing that they're hinging this buyout on is, hey, listen, they don't have any must-have games.
Right. Exactly. They should highlight Heroes of the Storm. They should be getting in there and being like, listen, Activision Blizzard, maker of Heroes of the Storm.
And you know what else? It's not a shooter.
Yeah. Look at all these not shooters.
You know what Microsoft doesn't have is a MOBA. They don't have a MOBA, Kyle.
There's so many videos being made about the death of Overwatch as well. Like, that game cannot come out soon enough for whatever they're hoping to do with it. That's like in November or something, too. It's coming up. Overwatch.
It's so strange, man. I don't know. That's a weird one for me because I fell off that game hard and I haven't looked back. And I'm fine with it. I have a lot of friends who still really like it, though, and are really stoked about it, too. So I think, you know, that it definitely has its fans. I'm looking at it like I don't know, will Overwatch 2 have the surge that Overwatch 1 had? I can't see it happening.
I was not prepared to be yelled at in game about a meta in the first week. It was so disheartening. It was the biggest turnoff I could possibly think of for a brand new, and at that time, the hero brawly shooter was a pretty novel concept. We didn't have Valorants, and did we have Paladins? I think Paladins and those sort of guys like squeezed in a little early. They were doing like the Grim Dawn before Diablo kind of thing. Your Bugs Life versus your Ants sort of business, and squeezing in.
That's a good point. And also, chat room's reminding me that Sony now owns, is in bed. Do they own Bungie? They essentially own Bungie now, right? That's the whole thing. They purchased Bungie, which means they now have Destiny. So Sony does actually have a massive shooter under their roof now.
They haven't done anything yet, though, right? That's Bungie, which is not Halo anymore.
Correct.
323.
They haven't been Halo since Reach. That was the last Halo game that Bungie put out. Then they founded 343. I believe a lot of, or at least a noteworthy amount of Halo developers stayed on / founded 343. So you have some original Halo blood that crossed over, but yeah, Bungie is Destiny, which they originally made Halo. So yeah, there was a great, I wish I could remember who made the joke. Someone on Twitter was like, I wish Bungie luck in their third marriage, and it made me laugh.
It's not untrue. Do they have their original leadership?
I have absolutely no idea. I really do like Bungie, but I don't follow them close enough to know who the hell's in charge.
Yeah, because eventually you lose all the people that made the games, and then it's just the title that you're buying. That's kind of what Blizzard feels like in a lot of ways.
There's something to be said for having keys to the kingdom, and also,
Sure.
at some point, a lineage of people who learned under the original leadership.
True.
There's definitely something for that.
I like visionaries. I really respond to the people in the lead when a lot of these projects are originally released.
Yeah. Anyway, what a riotous. I didn't mean to make a riot joke when talking about this Blizzard, but what a raucous week of news for Blizzard related stuff. And let's get on before we leave news. There's one more video game studio punching bag we haven't talked about yet.
Okay.
Yeah, Electronic Arts is still trying to walk back that single player tweet. Kyle.
All right, so
it has now it has entered their earnings call. So their first quarter earnings call is now being plagued by how much they're trying to convince us that they care about single player games.
So you're not going to tell me what's going on with Batgirl, but you got to tell me what happened here. Why is this a thing? What's the meme they were getting on board with?
All right. I hope you're ready for some meme history. But Kyle, are you familiar with the "they're a 10 but" meme?
I woke up, 3 weeks ago, and everyone was saying they're a 10 but, and I was like, well, this seems kind of mean.
Well, much like God of War, you were late to the party because I think it was more like a month and a half ago is when this started.
Yeah,
but,
it seems kind of mean, It's mean-spirited.
It was like they're a 10, but don't like ketchup on their French fries, which, by the way, is me and my wife. We are 10s and we don't like ketchup on our French fries. But
everyone, okay, just continue.
That's the joke. Is they're a 10, but, and then it's like something that is like socially weird or awkward or hard to get over. That's the joke. That's the meme.
Okay.
And the official Electronic Arts account tweeted on June 30th, they're a 10, but they only like playing single player games. They were promptly roasted by over 3,000 replies.
Okay, so the first place my brain goes is, makes sense, EA. You ham-fisted that multiplayer into a lot of games, but Mass Effect 3 was the one that I really felt was egregious. Like, you could feel the seams ripping all the time when you forced that. I think it was the Frostbite engine as well, which is like that problem engine they keep having issues with like Andromeda and like all these kind of, it's a multiplayer engine that they keep trying to make single player games in. They're forcing their developers to use a multiplayer engine to make single player games. So if anything, this is most insulting to their developers who are working hard to make single player games inside multiplayer engines.
Yes, and they're also they're attached to like Jedi Fallen Order, which is one of the most successful games of the last few years. Space? They're also remaking Dead Space.
I'm excited for that.
Why are we talking like Jerry Seinfeld?
Because we got upset, and it's ridiculous. Okay, so they got what was the heat they got for this? Like
just lots of
own single player games.
Yeah, like they're a 10, but they released Anthem. Were replies.
That's true.
Yeah, except I don't think a lot of people actually say EA is a 10, but. Yeah, listen, I love some EA games. Listen, I'll admit it. You know, Jedi Fallen Order was great. They own BioWare, who used to make very good games.
It's been a while,
and I'm hopeful for it. BioWare, I believe in you. I'm poised to love you again. They just
got a big acquisition too for BioWare. One of the lead writers.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, I think they're bringing in some talent for this next Dragon Age.
Yeah. So anyway, it leaked into the damn earnings call. EA CEO Andrew Wilson said, and I quote, "And as we think about single player games, we think it's a really, really important part of the overall portfolio that we deliver in the fulfillment of those core motivations. And the way we'll plan for it over time is really just looking at our community and looking at how they're spending their time and looking at where motivations may or may not be fulfilled. And we'll look to supplement that with addition of new online games, new multiplayer games, and new single player games," he said, doing his best impression of a human being.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with their CEO, CFO kind of.
No, me neither. But you know what I am familiar with is like this lizard
jargon.
Speak from CEOs of gaming corporations. Yeah, it's so cold. It's for the shareholders. It's not for us.
Absolutely.
We've said this before. We will say it again. This is not for us. This is for people with deep pockets.
I want to make a video game.
Looking for places to invest it in the video game industry. So
then they get on the Twitter here and reading on this article, they say, "Roast well-deserved. We'll take this L. Because playing single player games actually makes them an 11.
How do you do, my fellow gamers?
Right. Roast well deserved. Like The Rock showing up at the middle of whatever that presentation was to pimp his sports drink.
Hello, gamers.
Yeah. Hey, keep on gaming, gamers. Like, oh, jeez.
I really like The Rock too. You gotta try pretty hard to make me not respond to Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
The man says yes. He is one foot in front of the other, keeps saying yes, wears the same shirt in every single movie, and I respect him for it. Like, that is some serious. Oh yeah.
Wait, is that a thing? Does The Rock wear the same shirt?
He wears like that kind of gray, like I don't know what you call it, like distressed gray shirt, and like Jumanji and the Tower one and the Earthquake one and the.
Jumanji is wearing like a Safari shirt.
But I think he loses it at some point. I don't know. I haven't seen Jumanji. I just saw that.
And watch Jumanji, by the way. It's very good. But also, in Fast and Furious, that totally had an Under Armour brand activation because he's wearing like skin tight Under Armour black shirts.
And you should with that body and getting up at like 5 a.m., 3 a.m. or something absurd like that so he can go record Hercules. Like Hercules is a lot of fun too.
I think you're saying that skin tight shirts on The Rock all look the same because it just looks like The Rock's body.
Like his body. Maybe that's my initial problem. You know, what we need to do is start a new section called Garrett Explains Twitter. And it'll be whatever's going on. And then the small breadcrumb that I picked up over the week, and you explain what actually happened.
It's actually a really good idea because you're the most social media illiterate person I know.
got no time for this. I got a toddler talking at me. I got my own.
You make content,
and I play video games.
You make content.
I play video games with my own opinions. I don't like having other people's voices in my head.
All right. Well,
but this is. I hate the phrase. The getting them W's or taking L's or of all the gamer phrases, I just want to go back to vibing and getting this bread. That was a good time period 2 years ago or so when we were all vibing and getting bread.
I think if you think it, because I know you grew up like I did. We grew up in like the heyday of late 90s, early 2000s hip hop. And I think if you think of that lingo in that way that I know you thought about it back then when you were listening to hip hop and rap as an awkward white kid, like where you started ironically using the lingo of people that were way cooler than you, but then it also like legitimately accidentally became a real part of your vocabulary.
Okay.
If you think of things like taking an L and shit like that with the same kind of energy of it's kind of goofy and now I'm like too old and square to use it, I think you'll get some mileage and have some fun with it.
I liked You Love to See It. That was one of my favorites. You love to see it. You love to see it.
I go with You Hate to See It.
That was there's no reason to be that negative. I loved You Love to See It. That was a
lately.
Lately,
I've found myself saying that's a rough look a lot.
Oh, I like that.
It's a rough look.
Where's that from?
The Northeast. I don't know. I've been listening to a lot of people from New York lately.
I kind of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. Anyway, EA, it's a rough look, Kyle. So,
social media management, it's got to be a hard job.
Yes, it really does have to be a good, hard one. So I don't envy anyone running corporate social media accounts, except maybe whoever's doing Taco Bell because they're a genius.
Sure, Wendy's,
Taco Bell and Wendy's.
Yeah. I've seen
Taco
them
Bell
throw
and
down.
Wendy's.
They're pretty good.
Whoever's running stuff over there, and I'm sure by now they've had multiple people. I know you're a Top Gear fan. It's like there's been multiple Stigs. I bet there's been multiple people running those accounts.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you get big. Like opening act, basically. There's probably some serious comedic writing going on there. Like everyone who came from Adult Swim and does all kinds of crazy things now, and made crazy things back then too. Yeah,
I keep seeing Tim and Eric show up in random shit. And I'm like, hey, good to see you guys still out there being ridiculous.
I love the curly-haired guy they always got. He was in
John C. Reilly?
Yeah, he was always my favorite bits.
John C. Reilly is a woefully underappreciated actor because that dude got range. He can also do drama, but he is funny as hell.
Yeah, he's like a serious Will Ferrell.
When he wants to be. And other times he's just Will Ferrell or playing across Will Ferrell in my favorite Will Ferrell movie, Step Brothers.
I've never seen it. I should see that.
You should. It's a really fun one. Save it. Maybe we'll do a commentary track or something. Anyways, you mentioned you want to start a new segment. Are you ready for this week's new segment?
Let's do it.
Ew, 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 ew. Ew. Ew.
Okay, that's pretty cringy.
Welcome to Cringeworthy, a new segment where we decide what's cringy and what's not. The whole idea here is, this is where Kyle and I are going to find out if each other are functional members of society or complete cringe. So please, as you listen to this, if an idea pops into your head on, is this cringe or not? Send it to feedback@startgrindinggear.com.
I believe we're also going to analyze other people's shorter cringe stories and see if they were cringe.
Yes. So we're going to start off with a cringe questionnaire. We're gonna go back and forth, Kyle, and see if each other are guilty of these cringy traits. And then I also we got a ton of these from our Discord. And I pulled 3 of them for today, and I now have a massive backlog, but keep them coming. Feedback@startgrindinggear.com. So I'm going to start us off, Kyle. I'm going to start us off to find out if you and I are cringe monsters. Have you ever owned a sword or dagger?
Absolutely. I got Frostmourne here next to me, and I also had for a time one of those like completely useless mall abominations where it has a handle that doesn't really support the weight of it and curves and, makes like a dragon on top of it. I threw that away over time. I'm sorry, college roommate. That was a gift. But
Oh, it was a gift. Yeah, I was gifted a monstrosity mauled dagger. So I'm guilty of this too. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever had a proper sword. I do currently have 2 replica lightsabers in my possession.
okay.
Do lightsabers count? I guess is my question to
That's
you.
a good question. When
Is it
applying,
cringy to own a lightsaber?
well, that's defining cringe a little bit, which I think will be part of the essay topic of this section. However, if applied in the right areas, a sword becomes less cringy, such as going to a Star Wars movie and holding your lightsaber outside of it. Now, if you're dressed up, that may increase your points or decrease your points. If you're just standing there in shorts, I think you kind of end middle cringe.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're just gonna say they count. We're just gonna say that melee weapons in general, they just count. I also had nunchucks.
Have you ever sat on the floor in the manga section of a bookstore and started reading?
I have not, but I had friends that were very about this.
I worked bookstore security for a time, and they were villains. They would bring their own blades and cut open the plastic, like along the edge. You know, like you do with a DVD, where did you ever do that with like a knife? You go zzz around the DVD so it'd get all the little tape ones and the plastic outside at the same time.
Oh God, yes, yeah. I was a big music nerd in high school. I would do this with CDs a lot because trying to crack that extremely tight fold was just impossible. So I'd always just get a blade.
Yes.
Just cut that shit off.
So they do this in like downtown Chicago, and they bring their blades and go around the edges so that they could refold the plastic back around the book. And usually the plastics were around the books that had any sort of material you probably wouldn't want to read in public, like boobies or something in there. And they would just...
I'm laughing at Chad that someone said I was just about to say nunchucks with more cringy, but then Garrett.
And then they just minefield about the place, just a endless sea of teenagers littering the store.
So what I'm hearing is you are not guilty of this, but you have witnessed it many times.
Yes, and I have an opinion on it. Borderline theft to be opening the plastic. But then again, I was trained as loss prevention, so my opinion's going to be a little stronger about a bunch of kids opening the plastic in the store. I had to be the one to stop. You were the
fuzz, man.
Yeah.
You're the cops.
I was the throwdown.
Oh, man. Gross, Kyle. No, I never saw you in this light. I never want to again.
Oh, it was a fascinating role for me. I'm not a very combative person, but I had the height and I had the voice, so I got the job, and I needed the job at the time. And anytime I met someone who had a lower voice than me, we would slowly get in this lower voice war. It always happened every single time as we tried to dominate each other's authority.
Okay. So neither of us are guilty of this. Kyle, have you ever drawn fan art?
Does Pokemon count? Like drawing Pokemon when you're younger?
Absolutely.
Okay, then I've done it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, what was your go-to when drawing Pokemon?
I drew a pretty decent Charizard, but I was really crap. I claimed to be working on a Pokemon comic for a while when someone would see me drawing these, and that was a complete lie.
Okay. Does that make it better?
That makes you a
You're
liar.
embarrassed of drawing Pokemon. How does... No.
You double down. You double down.
Understand. I'm making a comic. Like, that, to me, that makes it worse.
It's like someone walks in your room and they're like, do you have a sword? And you say, no, I'm a collector. I'm not drinking at 3 p.m. It's a flight. It's a sampling. It's a tasting. It's the same idea. You double down when pressured.
All right, so somebody with a home bar that is over 60 bottles, that's like if someone came in and went, "Are you an alcoholic?" I'd go, no. I'm a collector.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's funny. I am guilty of this. I used to be really big into drawing Sonic when I was a kid.
Sure. Sonic was
Drew
cool.
a lot of Sonic. I would do Sonic Dragon Ball Z crossovers.
Oh, well,
that was a big thing.
They kind of, both power up, so it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, they both turn golden when they get super powerful, right? I was all about shit getting really powerful and getting gold spiky hair.
Did you ever?
That was my jam.
Did you ever draw a C and then kind of draw another C right next to that, and then put some dots in it? And did you ever draw erotica?
A C and then another. Oh, you're describing how to draw boobs.
Yes. Did you ever draw erotica? You went to art school. I'm sure there was a lot of kids that drew erotica.
There were a lot of people that drew erotica, but Sorry, I thought so. Where I thought you were going with that, you went to art school. You must have drawn a lot of naked people. Figure drawing is not erotica. It can be, but it's about like intent and poses and all that.
Sure.
I drew a lot of naked people. I have not drawn erotica.
Perfect.
Yeah, that would be that. Sorry, continue. Speaking of erotica,
Ever written a fanfic? Not necessarily. It doesn't have to be erotica, but it is erotic adjacent. Yeah. Have you ever written a fanfic?
I have not ever written a fanfic. Oh wait, no. As a kid, I think I started writing a Predator fanfic.
Oh, sick, dude.
Never in this exact moment. I'm remembering that one time. Yes, I did. I was really into Aliens and Predator.
Did you?
Pre-puberty.
Would you have it? Is it somewhere that you could access?
No, that shit's long gone.
Oh.
That shit's long gone. My mom had a typewriter. I was obsessed with the typewriter. I just liked the mechanical nature of it.
Sure, sounds good.
And that's what I started typing it up on.
Oh, I need that.
So yeah, I guess I am guilty of this. By the way, I need to keep score here. You're at 2. I am now at 3.
Okay, well, I'll join you at 3. To an extent, I helped run a Harry Potter role play forum. Where,
oh shit!
Yeah,
I didn't know that about you.
I was head of Slytherin, so I would manage the Slytherin boards, and we would, pretend to go to class and hang out and, cast spells.
That is nerdy as shit, man.
Pretty nerdy.
So I'm sorry, I was about to ask you what
Slytherin.
house? Slytherin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have been sorted into Slytherin like 3 separate times I've taken those types of tests.
Yeah, I'm power hungry and the world has magic in it. Why would you not be? Ain't hurting nobody. You're just getting good spells. So maybe you can hurt people, but the Slytherin doesn't mean you're evil.
Hard copy fanfic is very brave of you, says Gabgano in our chat. Hey, not all Slytherin were blood racist, okay? Just the famous ones in the book.
Yeah, we didn't really...
There were plenty of just like normal students who were in Slytherin.
I assume so, right?
Yeah, there were plenty of normies, okay? I don't like Gryffindor. They were a bunch of jocks. Wouldn't be Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Although, how did Neville get in Gryffindor? I didn't really think about it. He wasn't really a jock.
But he was also like the second destined or something, so I think the hat may have like touched his like superpowers in that way.
Oh, that's right.
He was off. He was B-plot. He was...
Because him getting like hot wasn't in the books, right? That was just they happened to pick an actor who aged extremely well.
Yes. He
totally looked like a nerd as a kid and then grew up and you're like, oh, damn, that's a man.
I mean, it's pretty common. I was a buck-toothed kid because I had teeth that matched my height that I would one day be. But, being like 6'1" with a 6'4" man's teeth was a horrifying display.
Okay. Well, moving on, Kyle, I want to know, have you ever left an angry YouTube comment?
Never. I've never commented on YouTube outside of my own videos.
Okay, that's respectable. That's not cringy at all. I have also never left an angry YouTube comment.
There we go.
Yeah. It's about the greatest cringe sin, in my opinion.
Did you ever wear the same Halloween costume to more than 2 years in a row because you wanted to? In a row.
I'm absolutely guilty of this. I was Darth Vader 2 years in a row. Same costume.
But you had the helmet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a cheap, shitty helmet, but yes.
Sure. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I didn't start getting nice Star Wars collectibles until I was in my 30s.
I did vary it because I went to MegaCon, and when I was at the side story here real quick, but when you went to MegaCon, there was a thing where day 1 you would dress up as an anime character or a video game character, and then day 2 you would do that character altered. And normally it was kind of like lingerie, like you would do, let's say, like, well, Kratos day 1, but day 2 Kratos was wearing like a tutu dress or something like that, and you'd like spin it as a joke. So what I started doing was I did Indiana Jones multiple years, but I started doing Indiana Jones with different like tragedies attacked to him. Like I covered myself in snakes, or one year I did a Ghostbuster, but it had a chest burster out of my chest, and added, some blood and a chest burster and all that.
Yeah, that's not, I'm thinking more like the intent here is important. It's like you just keep wearing the same damn thing because you just think it's the coolest thing in the world.
Right. You're like a little kid and you need your Batman cape in order to go outside.
Yeah. This is not because you're trying to save money or it was a rough year that year for your parents and they're like, sorry, same costume. This is no, I'm being Darth Vader again because Darth Vader's the coolest shit in the world.
I did not do this.
Okay. All right. Hey, I have pulled ahead of you. We should have came up with a figure where it doesn't matter. You're over the line. You're cringy.
I mean, quite a few of these are worth more points than others, I think. The system will develop over future cringeworthies. Need to assign point values.
Oh my god. Oh god. I like that. Okay, we could do that. Hold on. I'm just gonna make a quick adjustment here because I didn't number these. I just want to see how many there are. So there's 12.
Okay.
So we'll say if you hit 7,
right, that'd be
you're cringy.
Yeah, and then it ends.
Yeah.
Then it ends because the winners decide. It's like esports.
Well, no, because we could both end this being cringe bastards.
True. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Have you ever forced a significant other to watch or play something that they were clearly not interested in?
I mean, Obi-Wan and Kristen, she did not want to watch any of that. She had made her call very early on, and we kept watching. We had to develop a pause system where she would pause or I would pause if we had too much to say about what we were watching.
If you dislike something that much, you should just talk over it. Just like volume low, just keep going.
Well, the problem was ultimately that I liked the Obi-Wan scenes. Like I liked when he was going through the facility and like he did the snap thing, and I was like, that's kind of cute. And like so there was little moments where I was kind of into it. So it was more about letting it play when something I liked was happening. But yes, of course that's happened.
Just adding a super chat for our mid-show break where we're gonna read the super chats that came through. Okay, all right. I was thinking more like earlier on. I definitely 100% in the early days of Katie and me dating. She was not interested in Star Wars. Hadn't seen it growing up. Was not interested in it. And I was just like, oh, we gotta watch it. We gotta watch. You don't understand. It's a big part of me.
Yeah,
it's a big part of me. We gotta watch it. She now loves it. And now she's, I feel, has ascended to pretty max Star Wars nerddom by claiming that the Clone Wars animated series is her favorite thing in Star Wars, which I'm like, okay, yeah, you got bought in hook, line, and sinker. But yeah,
I only think it counts if they continue to dislike it as you want, because otherwise you're doing a good thing for them. You're exposing them to a healthy part, and in that case, like an important part of you, I can't imagine you dating anybody who isn't at least aware of Star Wars enough to get you. So
yeah, that's
a requirement.
That's my big example. I have so many other examples of this, Kyle. Every single person I have ever dated has been exposed to things that they like Evil Dead. I have multiple. I think every ex I have at some point I was like, it's Halloween, we're watching Evil Dead, and I can't think of one of them that liked it.
Okay, I usually like the things. I can't think of anything that Kristen has sat me down for and I've disliked personally. And like we did all of Sailor Moon, we did Ranma, we did like a lot of things. She worked at a video rental store growing up, and the owner
Record of Lotus War. Is
that's a fun one.
I like Record of Lotus War. I never got into Ranma. I respect it. It's an absolute piece of history, but
it's overly episodic. Like like Card Captors is another one I watched with her. It's so predictable at a certain point.
Yeah. Chat brings up a good one. Yeah, Kyle. You have a friend who was really not interested in Final Fantasy 14. That was for your own good. That was for your own good again. Like you ended up liking it. I think in order to be cringeworthy, you have to continue to subject it. I disagree. I think if you really just force it upon someone, whether they end up getting into whatever fandom or interest you have forced upon them, it was still something where they were just like, no, I'm not interested. And you're just like, well, too bad. We're gonna try it anyway. Like there's a cringe energy there, Kyle, that I think you have to admit to. It's okay. You're still behind me.
Okay. All right.
It's okay. What's next?
Have you ever stopped a cosplayer who was clearly done with their day because you had to get a picture?
Yes, on both. I've been on both ends of this.
Oh,
I have stopped a
villain.
cosplayer who was clearly done with their day, and I have been stopped as a cosplayer who is, and I was done. I wanted nothing to do with the dude who was asking for a photo. Yeah, it was. I think it was the first ever Tampa Bay Comic-Con. You and I were still doing StarCast at the time, and there was a StarCraft ghost about to exit. To exit, and I was like, oh, it's so cool, because it was the first year the con was tiny. It was in my backyard, and the last thing I thought I'd see was someone cosplaying anything from StarCraft. And I was like, no, you don't. I just, do you mind?
That makes it matter to me more. Like
it went down pretty smooth because I was wearing a StarCraft shirt, and they're like,
Sure.
okay, all right, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
But
Your
yeah.
plight. I relate to your plight, but I still haven't done it. I think it's a bridge too far. I am intensely aware of mascots and like Mickey Mouse, the person inside. I'm really concerned about their well-being, their hydration levels, particularly in Florida. Like it just bothersome seeing them out. I hope they have small AC units in there someday.
I think a lot of this, I think quite a few of them do, but I think it depends on the suit.
I don't know. I've never hugged Buzz Lightyear and heard like coming from inside the suit. So as far as I know, no, they are not AC comfortable in there.
Okay. And you've never, so you're not guilty of this.
No.
I was stopped at Star Wars Celebration. It was roughly 105 degrees out, and I was in full Stormtrooper armor outside, and got stopped by a dude who's just like would not let me go.
Okay, I would make an argument for less points for that person because they're currently under the effect of the mask. You are not a human being anymore. You are a stormtrooper, and your plight.
So you wouldn't give that person a code or a point?
I'd give them points, but just not as many. Like you stopped you described a ghost, which I'm assuming their face was out. They were Nova, or they were
I think they were Kerrigan.
Okay, Kerrigan, yeah.
They were pre-Zergified Kerrigan.
Who's the Spectre?
I want to say.
Who's the Spectre?
Spectre?
Yeah.
I don't remember the Spectre. Tosh.
Tosh, yeah. There was the
Yeah.
blue ghosts and the red Spectres.
Yeah.
Spectres were
Tosh was
badass.
cool.
But they were also kind of like insane or something. Like they
I fired up this Wings of Liberty campaign recently.
So good.
I was just kind of in the mood. I was watching some GSL. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. But anyway, doesn't matter. Because moving on. Have you ever corrected a stranger on pop culture out in the wild? Maybe, you're talking Star Wars with randos in a hotel hot tub, and one of the people refers to the child as Baby Yoda, and you just had to let them know it's actually Grogu.
Yes. I have been
Okay.
at board game stores where people misquoted the correct challenge rating of a 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons monster, and I corrected them.
Oh my God. Oh shit. Wow. I corrected somebody very recently in a similar way. It wasn't about a traditionally nerdy topic, but it was about cocktails.
You're a nerd about cocktails, yeah.
I am a massive nerd about cocktails, but yeah, I didn't even think about that. So I distinctly remember correcting someone in a hotel hot tub. We were talking Star Wars, and they referred to who's the lead dude on The Mandalorian? Favreau. They attributed Favreau to the Clone Wars, and I was like, no, that's Dave Filoni. Like a knee-jerk reaction, and afterwards I felt bad about it. So I was like, I couldn't stop myself.
Sure.
Do you know how rare it is to like meet another random person on Earth who even knows who those people are?
You get excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever played a viral song in a public setting? Example, queuing up the Taking the Hobbits to Isengard in your car or home.
Absolutely, and that is an example I have done.
Yeah, well, that's just college. Like, you belt it. You belt those songs.
Mm-hmm. We used to, if we could get to the computer lab before our instructor in college, we would put that on the instructor's computer because it had the speakers and just loop it.
There was a great Star Trek mashup. I have to find it now. Captain John Picard, USS Enterprise. And I would blast that thing in my car. publicly to be seen. So goth kid driving by in a Subaru Baja, blasting Captain John Picard.
What a not... Is there a less goth car than a Subaru Baja?
No, but it added to the mess that I was. So you know what? It worked.
Like maybe like the redesigned 2000 Beetles with like the little flower holder that's on the dashboard.
Is there really a...
I guess then though you could put a black rose in the flower holder, so you at least could have gothified it.
You could.
Yeah. I've definitely done this with other songs. I'm struggling to think of an example, but I'm horrendously guilty of this. I've done it many, many times. Meme songs. Big one. All right, Kyle. Final one before we move on to listener submitted questions. Do you own a fedora?
Not
this
anymore.
Is an important one.
Not anymore. They've all been disposed of.
Have you owned a fedora?
Yes,
is
of
how
course.
I should.
Of
Have
course.
you ever owned a fedora?
I just said 2 years at least of Indiana Jones dress up. But I've had the straight up pinstripe black fedora with the curl up the back and the, lower brow. It's probably not a traditional.
Oh no,
fedora.
those little ones that like Justin Timberlake used to wear.
Yeah, but not like wicker or whatever his ones were made. I'm talking like, it's that black.
Those
like
little
pants.
ones though, to me are the greatest sin of all fedoras.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
If you could get it at Walmart, that's like maximum cringe points.
I bought this at Hot Topic at the same time I got my arm cuffs with the.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I had those too. What color were yours?
Well, black, and they had all the, they had the beckles and the little.
Mine were striped. I had striped ones. I had white and black striped ones.
Solid
So
black,
very,
lots of
very
silvery
Tim
metal
Burton.
on them.
Okay.
Still don't think those are badass. I'm a grown ass man now, but
Yeah, cool, wonderful. Well, I'm just gonna add a point here and move on with my life. Nice.
So you have then, yes? Your fedora?
What? Oh, I was hoping I was going to get away from this one. Kyle, I don't have a fedora. I have a pork pie hat.
Okay.
You're giggling this, aren't you?
Yeah, I need to know what a pork pie is. Oh, well, I'm getting food items. All right, hats.
Make sure you add a hat.
Oh, it's like a Joker hat. It's the ones with the little like quail feathers in the sides.
Feathers on the side could be in any real fedora adjacent brimmed hat.
Yeah. But
Yes, I have.
do you still wear it? Is this in your
Ska's
repertoire?
life. I will never give up ska, and pork pie hats are very much part of ska fashion. No, yeah. I said, hold on, I can go. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna go grab it. It's over here.
All right, yeah. Let's see it. Sport it. Pork pie.
Oh, my hair is too long. I can't get my diode back in my ear.
All right. Let's see it.
Yeah. So it's right here.
Oh, okay. That's tame. It looks
Yeah.
well.
I'm not even
loved.
sure. Not sure it fits over my hair. Oh, it kind of does fit over my hair.
Yeah.
So yeah. I got one of those.
Wow.
So,
you look like. If you had a cigarette, I would say you were the lead guitarist. If not, you're the bassist.
Yeah. Listen, man, we've all seen the music video for Ruby Soho and decided it was time for one of those hats. Rancid song.
Have we?
Okay, yeah. I forget that.
Ruby Soho's a wrestler?
Actually, yes, but that's a rather new thing, and she
Oh.
is themed after the Rancid song of the same name.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Well, respect the dedication.
Yeah. For a short wrestling offshoot, my partner in life, Katie, is a raging wrestling fan and just recently started watching AEW. So I am very aware of most of the AEW wrestlers right now.
Wrestling's fun. Wrestling's like a soap opera.
Yeah, it is. It's the whole reason speaking of introducing things to your significant other, it's how I sold Katie on watching all of Dragon Ball Z. I was like, it's basically wrestling.
Okay. Yeah.
She loved it, by the way. Katie does not like anime. She loved Dragon Ball Z. So, I digress. Do you want to get to user-submitted questions?
Yes, please.
All right, Kyle. Unpronounceable wants to know, is it cringe to get into heated discussions about movies, games, books, etc. with someone because you both like or dislike it for very different reasons? To which I say, unpronounceable, you're just describing Kyle and I's relationship.
Right. No, that's just having a good time. It depends who you're doing it with, but the way you worded it here, it suggests that you both like or dislike, meaning you'd have some frame of reference of each other's personal preferences.
Yeah, I don't think that's cringe. I mean, I think some people would argue that passion of any form is cringe.
That ain't right. No. Some people
It ain't, but I do think it's at the core. I think it's at the core of cringe energy.
That's
passion.
true. We can label it as cringe, but if someone is having a legitimately good time and you invade their space to call them cringe, you are cringe.
That is fair. That is fair. And listen, this is fun because you and I are both cringe.
Exactly.
Actually, we both scored an 8. Actually, no, I scored a 9. I scored a 9. I didn't add my fedora point.
8 out of 12 doctors agree that we are cringe.
Yeah. All right, Ravio asked, and actually Ravio sent a bunch of good ones, and I'm going to break them up, but wants to know, is it cringe to act like or impersonate a celebrity when you were younger?
Did you do it in secret to prepare yourself? Because that's what I did.
I would say yes, that's cringe. Just because no one witnessed it doesn't mean it's not cringe.
Because I had those big buck teeth I was telling you about. So I wanted to find someone who smiled without showing their teeth, and I found Harrison Ford, who I already really liked. So I practiced their smile and the way they work their mouth in general, because Harrison Ford doesn't show off his teeth much. Think about Harrison Ford's teeth. What do they look like?
I can think of him smiling as Indiana Jones showing his teeth right now.
Yeah, but he mostly does that like that smirk. That
the one side.
Yeah,
the
I'm
one
not talking
side
about
smirk.
like a big wide smile like Tom Cruise does all the time, and you can see the middle tooth. Like Tom Cruise always flashing those pearly whites, but
that's fair.
Harrison Ford is more reserved, and I
was thinking more like, trying to talk or sound like them, which for me, I'm absolutely guilty of this. Jim Carrey. I was a very hyper kid.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a rough look, isn't it?
Oh, I have massive respect for Jim Carrey and his dissection of his own career and his own self-motivation. I love listening to quotes of Jim Carrey talk about the craft, but he's too much for me. And that sounds really intense. I knew a kid showed up in college who made Dan Cook his entire personality.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then one day he was showing us a Dan Cook video, and you could just feel like how bad he had messed up, because he was so excited to share this with us all. And we realized every one of his jokes, his mannerisms, everything we found even slightly amusing was just straight up stolen from that video.
Do I know this person? We have shared friends from college. Do I know this person?
This is someone that was not in our circles.
Just wanted to make sure. I'm
not outing anyone in Florida that I would be aware of at this time.
We were the perfect age for that. Dan Cook was exploding when we were entering college. Absolutely exploding.
The main comedian I watched was Eddie Izzard. I thought Eddie Izzard was amazing. I love the imagination of it, the creativity.
I did and still do really enjoy Eddie Izzard. I was really like Greg Giraldo, who I miss a lot, and I'm sad that he passed. He's a very Jersey comedian. Half of my family is from like New York, New Jersey, and so I really respond to that style of aggressive ball busting.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I come from. All right, Kyle, we're gonna end on this one.
Okay.
Are you ready for Luke's submission?
I'm ready.
All right, Luke wants to know, is it cringe to emulate gestures from an anime because you thought they look cool? Definitely, and I am guilty of this.
We grew up all right. I never powered up on the playground. I never put my arms at my sides and did a Dragon Ball Z thing. So I dodged that bullet. I never powered up.
I did not. I was that bullet.
Yeah.
That was me. You just described me in like 7th grade.
I ran like Sonic. I did the Power Rangers hand gestures a lot. I had an active imagination, and it was fun. Plus, I had a lot of alone time, so like I just really, maybe the better way to put it would be, I had a lot of time at the mall where my hand would become a spacecraft. Like there There was time to entertain yourself. And that absolutely happened in very public settings.
Well, thank you for admitting to it, Kyle.
Yeah.
I like that one so much that I'm gonna start making a short list of these that when we have guests on, we can see if they're cringe or not.
Perfect,
I'm gonna add this one.
This will be the gauntlet.
This one is gonna get added. Yeah.
The master
to the cringe gauntlet.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, before we move on, you want to take a mid-show break?
Yes.
Do you need to get up, use the restroom, refill your water, or anything like that?
I'll drink some water here. We'll hang out. We'll say hi to chat here as we make our way through this fabulous web programming.
I'll pause the audio recording to make life easier on myself later. But hi, stream. How you doing?
Hello.
We got some super chats to read.
Ooh.
We got some super chats to read.
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Yeah, we're not. Normally, we're hiding in the background. We're just getting through the show. This is nice. A little break time.
It is. It is. We're just powering through. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I had ramen for lunch and that burp. Oh, that was a spicy burp. Holy shit. Oh, Naruto Ninja gang signs. Suzuko Caress.
Sure. I mean, if you memorized them, like that's some work. Those move pretty fluidly between.
Was big, Kamehameha fan.
Yeah. Sure.
The arms back running. That was my biggest, if we assign point values, it's like, I don't know, Kyle. I would say, doing the index and middle finger glasses push up, that's maybe like 2 points. But a full on, ninja arm back run, that's probably like a good 20.
Yeah, no, that's pretty high scoring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's get these super chats. City Thunder sent one very early on in the show, said you made the mistake of mentioning how much money you spent on a game. All the Fate Grand Order people are coming out of the woodwork now. I don't know what that is.
Fate Stay Night, I assume. This is the anime where they go through historical figures that are kind of like stands or what we might call primals. They're like summons. Sometimes
summons that represent historical figures.
Yeah. So you got like Gilgamesh and you got Arthur, and they all battle for the fate of the world or something. I've only watched one of them, but I think they have a bunch of mobile games. It's kind of a gotcha sort of battleship, ladies who are battleships adjacent kind of thing. Yeah.
It's a gotcha game. Okay, yeah. Okay. I follow you. Unknown character super chatted, Warlords of Draenor failed because there was not enough waifu to roll on their loot box, especially the summer version. Wait, what? What does this even mean? There's a /s, but I don't even know what you're being sarcastic.
Well, it was a different time. We weren't there yet. We weren't far enough along for the Draenor waifus to be embraced.
What is this about loot boxes and summer versions?
They didn't make enough money. They didn't make enough money, I think it's because we brought it up in the middle of the NetEase conversation that I liked.
Oh,
so NetEase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's fair.
Which, you could.
Yeah, Warcraft has some great waifus and husbandos.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It means swimsuits. Oh, I get it now. I just clearly I missed. I was trying to, I failed at realizing at what point this came in. We also got a super chat from Calzone that said, fellow Harry Potter role-playing board person here.
Nice.
LMAO. Which forum were you on, Kyle? I was Hufflehead Girl on Hogwarts Castle. # no shame.
I have no idea anymore. It was green and tan. But, man, I have no idea.
Gotcha.
No idea.
Yeah. I never did any of those. I saw them. I remember looking into them for Dragon Ball Z when I was really into that. But I never joined one. I would tell you if it was. This isn't me covering my ass. I think we've admitted to enough cringy ass shit today that you believe I would.
When we were dividing up duties here and grinding gear and I said I'll handle the Discord. Yeah, I've got experience.
That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from.
The basis of it all.
And then we got a super chat from Ryu Shiro who says, younger, my role model was Spock because of his control over his emotions. I tried to emulate that. However, that was entirely motivated by my 15 years of school bullying. Is it still cringe?
I mean, Spock can throw down.
Who you're emulating might definitely, I think, you could make an argument plays a role. And I feel like there's worse people that you could be inspired by than Spock.
Well, and to be that cool and collected, and then like Spock has some zingers. He can take bullying. So I totally see grabbing onto that.
Spock is kind of the emotionally healthy version of like your too smart to the point of being like a sociopathic type characters, like your Sherlocks, like your Dr. House.
Actually, yeah.
Like, cause I love those characters and I'm always drawn to those types of shows, but I don't want to be those people. They're horrible. They're sociopaths, but Spock actually, is a functioning member of society. And at the end, he comes through for his friends.
Yeah. That's why I can't do House, man. I love the character. Same with like Rick and Morty. What was it? Season 3, where they're like, we're going to dissect why Rick is the way he is. And I'm like, yeah, that's technically correct, but can we go have fun again? I love Rick, but Rick's a sociopath.
Yeah, like I don't want to be like Rick, but I love the character and I find that show hysterical.
Like they had the doctor in Rick and Morty talk about like brushing your teeth, and I was like, this is a really good point, and someone needs to hear this. But let's get back to space. Let's get to space.
Also, we got a red super chat, Kyle, from Jason Stover.
Awesome.
Jason did not attach a message, and I don't see you following it up. If you meant to attach something, please add us. Do not send another super chat. Just add us. Let us know what you want to say. Otherwise, Jason, dude, thank you so much for the support. That is extremely generous. My God. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Chat's going deeper into the Spock one. And I think, wait, was Spock? Spock was half human, right? That was his. Was he half human?
Always the case, or was that only in the Abrams verse?
I'm not sure anymore. It's been a while since I watched the original series.
Yeah, I really know nothing about TOS, so.
Because he struggled, that was like he was always half.
He was always half human. Okay.
Yeah, so he was like, there were times where they addressed him like repressing it. But no, I think your comment's really good. I really like the idea that he is the more healthy version. And he was capable of like romantic relationships and such, sometimes under the effects of like space waves. But
I think Spock is a healthy role model, I guess is what I'm coming down to.
Yeah.
Like I think he's a healthy role model. It's like Rick is not.
No.
Sherlock is not.
Who's the one? Did you name the one in Scrubs? What's his name?
Oh, Dr. Cox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Cox is not a healthy role model. I don't think he's as bad as the other examples.
Well, it's a comedy, right? Like they were very. I remember a couple small times where they were like, "Hey, should we go home with Dr. Cox and see him sad drinking on his couch?" But like they never really like laid into it. And there's worse characters. Listen, sometimes life is rough. There's just rough characters. I feel like in the world of rough characters, Dr. Cox ain't too bad. City Thunder, thanks for the super chat. You should really put Fate Zero in your anime to watch list. Good story, amazing visuals, and even the dub is pretty good. Love hearing that because I hate reading. Was Fate Zero the one I watched with Gilgamesh and all that? As I remember, it was on the. I think I watched Grand Order maybe. But yeah, this was on the edge before things went too computerized, and I really liked it. I thought the animation was quite beautiful, and the way they play into weapons and each character having a unique weapon that is kind of their thing makes for interesting battles when the two match. Because like, oh man, I really can't wait for spear to fight sword. Gets you excited, kind of like airbenders and all the benders.
Oh, I love the benders, even the Futurama bender.
He's good too. Make him more.
So ready for new Futurama. I'm so glad they're doing it again. How many times is that show going to die and come back, Kyle?
Well, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's good. I really liked their last season. It was more episodic, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And they still all got it. Like, none of them sound different or tired, which age will do to you. But it's nice when, like, even, well, Tom Hanks really is like Woody. He still got it.
Yeah. Well, before we move on, do you need to get up and stretch, use the restroom, anything like that?
Yeah, I'll BRB, and then we'll do this thing. Are you?
I'll hold it down while you're
Cool.
gone.
Perfect. I will put you. Oop, that's me. There you go.
Full me, full Garrett. Hi, everybody. How you doing? There's like 20 alternate. Oh, interesting. Okay. Cool. Get back to the show. Once Kyle's back, we're going to move on to what games we're playing. And I don't believe we got a follow-up from Jason. I think Jason was just hitting us with that super chat, as you were calling it. That was a just massive donation, nothing to say, just being a total Chad. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it. It's a giant Garrett. It is. I'm huge on the internet. It's a bad joke. It did not, Nahul. Jason just didn't write anything. Full Garrett? You never go full Garrett. I mean, you can if you want. I don't know what going full Garrett would mean. Being really into Star Wars, cars, and cocktails? I don't know. Power Wash Simulator's Total Zen. Are we talking about Zen games now? I haven't played it. It does look fun. However, I do have to actually power wash my own damn driveway, so I don't really think of it as fun. I have to do it at least once a year. It gets so disgusting in Florida. It gets this thin layer of algae. Full Garrett sounds like a great wrestling move. It's all good, Nahul. No worries. It's all good. We mentioned it a while back. Let's see. That involves way more ska than I'd like. I like thunder. Or I like that. You're saying Tropic Thunder. I like ska. Nothing wrong with that. Tiki bars. Yep. I don't go to that many tiki bars. Or just go to the one in Key West. We don't really have any good tiki bars here locally, so we just make our own tiki drinks.
I have returned.
Welcome back. I'm just gonna do one of these. I'm just gonna stand up for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't need to go to the bathroom or anything, but yeah.
Give a little stretch and a bend. We were talking about freaking Tenacious D songs the other day. Now it's stuck in my head. Give a little stretch and a bend. Put the toe in the jacuzzi, baby. We doing what we got coming up next?
Main game. What we're playing? I guess we're not calling it main game. But,
yeah. What
like you do.
Did you want to do God of War first or do multiverses first?
Let's start with multiverses and end with God of War.
Okay. Sounds good.
I also would not be opposed to having a little chat about the Monster Hunter event in Final Fantasy XIV.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
I want to talk about that too.
It's a long show. Oh, nice Ramon show. Thank you. This is one of two very old Ramon shirts I have. I have one that's like, it used to be black and it's gray now. That's how old it is, but it's so soft. Oh my God. This is the other one. This is the slightly newer one. I think this one's only 10 years old. I think the other one is approaching 20. Actually, the other one is 20. I got that thing like freshman year of high school. Holy shit. Oh my God. Kyle, I still have clothes that are 20 years old that I wear.
Yeah.
I love old band t-shirts, man. There's nothing I like more. I should go on eBay and just buy a bunch of old t-shirts. That's what I should do.
I was watching Josh Strife Hayes, who does all that MMO content. I watched their big video this last week. It was really good. It was. I watched that too. It was surprisingly like
first thing I've ever watched from him. Actually, I always hear his name thrown around, but I've never watched any of his content. And when I heard that he was going to be talking to interviewing MMO creators, I was like, okay, I want to hear this. And I basically just listened to it as a podcast in the background, and it was really good.
Yeah. But one of his videos a long while ago, he talked about how he was making a joke, of course, because he always wears the same exact thing on stream, like the vest and the white shirt, and in his accent too. It was fabulously delivered, but he was basically saying even every genius always wears the exact same outfit. I mean, look at, and they showed a bunch of people through history, and that's why I always wear the exact same thing. I'm like, oh, damn, well, I'm just going to wear the same black shirt every stream. But I've got like 30 of them, so it's not the same black shirt. But I'm really...
I've heard that before. I can't, I hate it. I can't stand the whole concept of just wearing the same thing over and over again. It just sounds so dull. Especially because in my adult life, I finally found out that I like color. Today's a bad example of it. I'm wearing a black and white t-shirt, but
sure.
I love color now, and I just like surrounding myself with color and seeing it. It's fun. Anyways, shall we get back to the show?
Let's do just that.
Let's talk about what we're playing.
Choose your character.
What you been playing, Kyle?
Well, like I mentioned, I was at the cool kids park, and a bunch of the teens were talking about multiverses, which I had seen on Steam. And in
There are
fact,
teens at the park?
yeah. Well, you know, there's the playground, and then there's skate park. Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of skate parks, like full blown like skate parks.
Okay.
And jumps and skateboarding and all that sort of thing. They don't
I
want
was
you.
about to say, I don't think I ever went to the park once when I was a teenager.
Yeah, it's cool here. And, you know, it's beautiful outside. It's the Pacific Northwest, so lots of people just hang out outside. Anyway, I had seen the Founder Pack being top sell on Steam, and I was hearing some things about it being like Super Smash Bros. Adjacent. And I checked it out after having a pass-by recommendation. All the kids were Batman mains. They were all crazy about Batman.
I mean, I love Batman. So I haven't played it. But I too am aware of it, and I heard that it's not Super Smash Brothers adjacent. I've heard it's just straight up Super Smash Brothers. It is Super Smash Brothers, but with Warner Brothers and Warner Brothers adjacent IP.
Yeah, it's a weird combination because you got your Bugs Bunnies, you got LeBron James in there.
LeBron James is the number one turnoff for me. I'm like, I don't want real sports in my games.
Well, technically,
I like LeBron James seems like he's a cool dude. That's still where I'm like, oh, gross sports.
well, he's animated. He's animated him from the recent Slam, Come On and Jam, Space Jam. They redid Space Jam with him.
Yes, Space Jam. That movie I totally saw.
They also have like Tom and Jerry and Harley Quinn.
So okay, so LeBron James is a bit of a turnoff because I don't really care about real sports. The one that confuses me is that everything in this, everything is family friendly. Except, is that Arya Stark?
Yes, Arya Stark is in this. Apparently, Warner
What the
Brothers
fuck?
owns the rights
Explain this to me.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, ain't nothing the kids like more than R-rated, violent, overly sexual
Yes.
HBO series,
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
Yes, you were a teen. You know this to be true.
I was playing Smash Brothers before I was a teen.
I'm not saying that like the game isn't accessible. I'm saying that you were watching The Matrix and going to the Predators, and you know you went to the movie theaters and you were excited for a little violence. Yeah, I mean Game of Thrones is a lot more than just violence for sure. And it is a surprise. Like I honestly thought I was deeply out of touch when I saw the trailer for this game. Because I was going, who the hell is that? I know Finn the Human. I love Adventure Time. I know Steven
recognize
Universe.
more than I don't. So I am aware of Steven Universe. I've never seen it. I don't know the character at all. I don't even know what Steven Universe sounds like, but yeah.
Steven Universe is like if Adventure Time took place in reality, but you have like alien role models.
Okay.
It's a really...
There was a time where I thought Steven Universe was like a even more stylized version of Wreck-It Ralph.
I could totally, dude. Yeah, very much.
That's my understanding of Steven Universe.
Very much the same proportions, fight style with the big fists. Yeah, totally. Now, Steven Universe is like a deeply positive kids show that has a lot of life lessons, like Adventure Time did, and I think it's pretty damn wholesome. And I knew those characters, but I was looking down the list and I'm like, who the hell is this random person? And they fight very much like any of the humans from Super Smash Bros. Like, think of your dude with a sword. What Mark and
Marth.
There's the dude with the fire that everyone played. It was Mark.
Dude with a fire. You have to be more. Roy.
Yeah, everyone played as Roy. I liked Marth.
Yeah, I preferred Marth as well. I wasn't particularly great with either of them, but I did enjoy Marth. So that's what Arya plays like.
Yeah,
plays like a Marth.
It's very like swordy.
But Marth was heavy. Marth was a heavy character. I would expect Arya to be more like Link or even young Link.
Yeah, very, very much in that department. Like, she's more flighty, she's lighter. She has a whole like face stealing mechanic, which never really happened in the show, which is kind of cute. So they're like aware of the character enough to play into that stuff. So like you steal someone's face because, she was part of like the face-stealing assassins in the books.
Yeah.
And then she wears that
And the
face.
show.
Yeah, it happened a little bit in the show, right? And then you can be that
Is a whole
character
season
for like
in the show.
a move or two.
So is it good? How's the combat?
It's very floaty.
Well, Smash Bros. Is pretty floaty.
Yeah. There's a barrier to entry if you're coming from Smash Bros. Because the characters are bigger. Maybe the hitboxes are smaller here. I found it difficult to actually hit enemies. Also, Nintendo just had a lot of clarity in their character design. And that's the other thing I really kind of butt heads with, and we'll get to the other part later on. But Velma is one of the most insane things I've ever seen on this planet. Velma pulls out a calculator and starts shooting math at people. Her up attack is a giant light bulb. And it doesn't stop there because Shaggy is a Super Saiyan. And you may have seen the memes around, but they actually did it in the game. Like Shaggy full-blown, like, woo, powers up. He rips sandwiches out of the ground and throws them. He does power punches. All the voice acting is perhaps poorly mixed at this phase, but none of them sound... Finn the Human sounds right, but a lot of them sound like they didn't get the actual voice actor. And if it is Batman, it sounds like a Batman doing an impression of animated series Batman. And everyone in this sounds like they're the voice actor, but they're doing an impression of themselves.
Was this, I heard, I know nothing, but I heard a kerfuffle about non-union voice actors, and I don't know if it was this game or not.
That might be the case, because there's something odd going on there. There's some bizarre execution. So there's a through line. You got your Heroes of the Storm. You bring abilities from other games.
Oh, this was apparently the Nickelodeon one. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's funny that these are coming out so close together. Like, clearly this is maybe the new Battle Royale landscape that they're like, we can't compete with Fortnite, but you know what we can do? We can make Super Smash Bros. Knocks off, and the kids love them. And,
I think it's smart. I think it's a smart thing to go after. Like, if I'm being cold and marketing about it, I think it's a really smart genre to try and capitalize on, because the only one that's really out there right now is Nintendo, and there's no one more terrible about capitalizing on the popularity of their games from a competitive gaming aspect than Nintendo.
But it doesn't have that cleanliness with a Nintendo or even a Heroes of the Storm. Like, sometimes we played Heroes of the Storm, or even, you play Super Smash Bros. And you're like, who thought of this idea? Like, who looks at this character and comes up with this? And there's a lot of that in this game. Like Shaggy being a Super Saiyan. There's also perks you can attach to your characters, which are all unlocked via leveling, but it is a free-to-play game, and there are those trappings. Like, if you play more, the perks, the bonuses you attach to people, like Batman's Batarang doing more damage and all that sort of stuff, that's all unlocked by playing, which is good. But there are multiple shops. There's 2 kinds of currencies. It's called Gleamium, and you need 700 Gleamium premium currency to buy a hero, and you can only buy them in sets of 1,000, so you always have 300 sitting over.
Gross.
Yeah, that old chestnut, right?
Boo.
But I was pretty good at Finn the Human, which is, kind of cute. I was pretty decent. I think I lose this particular match I'm showing on screen here. The other thing that's really weird about it is they have fully embraced as their competitive mode 2v2. And they've done some work with the abilities to make them friendly. Like, one particular character shoots out a psychic lasso that you can pull people back off the edge from. So your co-op partner gains that benefit. Or Batman can put down smoke that you, as his, companion, your 2v2 friend, can jump into and be kind of stealth inside.
Oh, very interesting. Well, that's cool. It's good to know that they're actually kind of taking the genre and iterating on it.
I don't know. It kind of strikes me as one of those, like, we couldn't make our game work correctly, or the visual clarity was low, so let's make it 2v2 and that'll clean this all up. We did it, everybody.
Why would 2v2 make it easier to clarify things?
Well, because there's less to track, right? When you got another person on screen that's friendly, like, look how overly highlighted I am as the primary character here in that yellow aura. It's easy to lose yourselves, and I think that's partially just due to some visual design that, of course, isn't as strong as, character recognition from, like, Super Smash Bros. Nintendo characters. But the sound design is just weird. It's an intensely generic sounding game.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. You know, I'm jumping around. It's very bloop, bloop. Ding, ding, ding. Got a very
They're
plain.
trying.
Yeah, they're trying.
I feel like I can tell what jumps are Batman.
Yeah, they're giving it a go.
I can't really tell what's going on with Iron Giant, but also Iron Giant shouldn't be fighting. So
Yeah, Iron Giant. I mean, he's big, and you got kind of that big hitbox going on. And there's, of course, there's always disconnects with this sort of thing. Like Mewtwo, people always complained about back in Super Smash Bros. Because he should just be owning everybody on the planet. Well, it's like, yeah, well, you got like literal gods in some other games, like Smite, like Zeus battling, I don't know, Hera. Like, who's gonna win? But obviously, Superman is an OP. You don't walk out as Superman and instantly win. He gets beat up just like everybody else. Tom and Jerry would be your ice climbers kind of through line, where Tom and Jerry kind of work independently from each other, but always come back together. So there's a lot of that language built in.
a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. This is pretty low on my interest meter at the moment.
Deeply, deeply popular.
Like if I'm gonna play Smash Brothers, I'm gonna play Smash Brothers.
It's old. That's an old man's game.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, I was at a Christmas
I'm an
party.
old man. I don't know if you noticed, Kyle, have you looked at your birth year recently?
I have. I was at a Christmas party and the kids were playing Bakugan, and I asked them, "What's it like?" And
That's
they're like,
old.
"Oh, it's a card game." Yeah, no, yeah. And I said, "Oh, like Magic the Gathering," and they looked at me like the oldest man they had ever seen. They even said only old people play Magic the Gathering. So this is for all the new kids, Garrett. And this is what they're playing, and it's pretty popular. I've got some serious free-to-play premium burnout right now. I do not want to invest time into unlocking characters. It's decently generous with the gold you get. And like if you made this a main game, yeah, you'd probably unlock the characters you want in a decent amount of time. But their founders pack is $40. You get 15 tickets, which is to unlock 15 characters. Not 15 characters yet. So like they're planning that founders pack's gonna go out of wind. I'm a little sick of games that don't come out with the full roster and then hope they can make enough money to keep playing it.
Yeah, I mean, this is like an arena fighter, but other fighting games have done exactly just that. So it makes sense to a certain degree.
I've also heard
I get where
horrible
they're
things
coming
about
from.
Street Fighters free-to-play problems right now. I don't really know much about it, but
Yeah, I mean, I've never been huge in the fighting games. I was a big Mortal Kombat kid, like OG 1 through 3 Mortal Kombat, and kind of never really went back to fighting games.
they also have the rights to Rick and Morty here. So like they have a decent roster. I mean, they got all the Looney Tunes, Game of Thrones, a lot of Cartoon Network shows.
Obviously, DC.
Yeah, DC, which is, DC puts its name on a lot of things. DC to me is not a badge of courage.
It has a lot of potential to just. This is the kind of thing where you can see they're trying to do it's literally called multiverses. They're trying to capitalize on the whole multiverse, meta aspect of something like Fortnite, and this is, I think, a really good genre to do it in. It's just me personally, my days of Smash supremacy are behind me.
It's hard to do without the living room feel. It is not. It's like D&D in that way. It's really tough to get over when you've played it in person, and then trying to take that energy online. It doesn't work. But kids these days, they're probably used to being online. They don't go
very much so.
They don't go over to sleepovers anymore. I'm sure.
Especially, God help you if it was the last 2 years and you're like in your prime teen years. Like, what the hell are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What the hell are you gonna do?
So I might check this out a little more. It'd be interesting. I'm always interested to get good at a fighting game. I really like Soul Calibur back in the day. I usually have one that I've kind of played around with enough to be decent. And this one's kind of interesting. I got some serious free-to-play burnout right now.
Yeah. After what used to be my favorite studio put out, multiple lame mobile games with really predatory monetization, I'm just a little like, I'd rather just give you my money up front and enjoy my game, or pay a sub. I'm not against subs. I'm all for it. Well, You know what else we did? We played Monster Hunter in Final Fantasy 14, Kyle.
We did. That was really impressive. I tried Monster Hunter on the Game Pass about 2 years ago, and it's very floppy. You get smacked around a lot. You are a punching bag in that game, and you get thrown constantly by the enemy. It's a social game, though. It's like a co-op, one that is very, very thick in systems and really helps having friends who know what they're doing. So in an isolated scenario, it wasn't much for Monster Hunter, but trying it out in Final Fantasy 14, they really embodied the knockback feeling of playing a Monster Hunter game, and now I'm interested again in Monster Hunter overall. But that was a super cool event we did.
Yeah, I didn't know much about it outside of it's where the mount that I want is from. I see everybody on the Rathalos mount in Final Fantasy 14, and that mount is dope as hell looking. And
it is handsome.
Yeah, like if you follow along on our Final Fantasy 14 streams or our YouTube content, Kyle plans like the whole calendar. It's wonderful. He's like your best buddy who knows exactly how to get you through Disney and get the most out of your day. And so I didn't realize that this was coming up as soon as it was. I know you had mentioned, I was like, oh, hey, I added the Monster Hunter Rathalos trial to the thing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And then before I knew it, the day was here. And so I was like, oh shit, it's like a trial and you fight the thing. But the thing that's really interesting is, and this is going to sound so stupidly obvious to those of you that play both Final Fantasy 14 and Monster Hunter. I am new to both and I still haven't played Monster Hunter. But the fight doesn't really go by Final Fantasy 14 mechanics. It's more they like introduce Monster Hunter mechanics into Final Fantasy 14. And it's really cool. And we ended up, this is probably not the best thing to be our first extreme, but this was also our first extreme that we did on mid-eye level. Wiped quite a few times trying to beat this on extreme. Hell, we wiped on normal. What, twice?
Yeah.
3 times?
There were some mechanics here to get to know. It was an intensely different activity than normal Final Fantasy, which I think just speaks to the creativity of the developers to integrate all that into their system. And also just the engine. I am so exhausted with hearing, well, our engine can't do that. Our engine's not capable of this. It's like, oh, get off the Frostbite engine and make me a single player game, EA. Take the L. Take it.
Wow. You went from I hate the L to incorporating it into anger very quickly.
I'm using their own language against them. They deserve it. But
all right.
But like just when you get to see a video game be something new that you knew it wasn't capable of is really, really cool. And this event it definitely interested me a lot in Monster Hunter. That is all I've heard is a time sink. I know that there was a huge monster hunting contingent at Blizzard Entertainment and the Heroes of the Storm team in particular. Like I believe that's where they came up with like Kira and all those sort of movement mechanics. Like a lot of them during that time period were super into Monster Hunter, and there was a whole like club going on inside the game for the developers.
It's one of the more unique things I feel like I've done in Final Fantasy 14 so far, which is a big that carries a lot of weight because we're getting the rest of Stormblood out of the way before we get back to the MSQ and start 4.4 because it's the precursor to Shadowbringers, and I've been told many times, once you start, you're not going to want to stop. So, yeah, we're getting this all out of the way. We're doing our trials. We're doing our raids. All that kind of stuff. But I really like this Monster Hunter thing, and which is good because I'm going to grind the shit out of it because I want that mount.
Dragons are cool.
Dragons are cool, and this is, to me, the coolest dragon I've seen in Final Fantasy 14. I guess it's because it's a dragon from Monster Hunter.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's a really
it's
high
so leathery
beast.
looking.
Yeah, it's really
so
a beast.
Good. Yeah, it looks really good.
I have no idea how to get involved in Monster Hunter. Like when I played it, I had to like make a dish of curry, and there was a cat talking to me, and I had to go outside, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a sword and board?" I'm like, "Hell yeah! Just hook me up with something simple. Give me that sword and that shield." And they're like, "By the way, your sword transforms with your shield, and your shield sits on top of your sword, so you can make it a really big hammer, and you need to use this to like break defenses." And I was like, I can't. Not right now. This is too much. All the weapons are so anime big.
Oh,
and there were
shit.
so many systems at play. I've heard Rise is a little more get to the point, and that might be the place to start, and then go back to World when you like know the systems. Granted, you'll be frustrated because you're playing an older game that's since developed, but that might be the preferred sort of through line for us.
Listen, at some point in the future, we'll sync up on it and we'll just stream it, and we'll just let chat probably disagree with one another and teach us the game.
Perfect.
Yeah, sounds good. What could go wrong?
Nothing could go
All
wrong.
Right. So last week, I want an update. I know we talked about God of War 2018 last week, but I want to talk about it again because A, you're going through it for the first time, and B, you talking about it last week made me reinstall it, and that's what I did with like half of my Sunday was just start God of War all over again.
Absolutely, man. It is so good. It is we stopped all TV shows. Like, this is our evening right now. Just every night, we race into the office here and fire up God of War and get as far as we can in it. And I love the hell out of this game. It is beautiful. And perhaps the funniest thing to me was just how many people reached out to me this past week and was like, "How did you not hear about this?" Well, now you're aware of how like my Twitterverse goes. So that
I'm
exists
so glad, because that was my reaction to you last week, and I feel like you were like, "Why are you reacting? What do you mean? How did I miss this?" And then when the internet came to my defense, it was like, "Yeah, Kyle, how did you miss this?" Just made me feel a lot better.
Ultimately, I wasn't in the console crowd. I was on the Blizzard launcher. Everything I knew and everybody I knew was on the Blizzard launcher on PC games, and this was not available at that time. So it's funny that now having a Final Fantasy PlayStation audience, overwhelming the word was, "Well, how did you miss this? How could you possibly miss this?" And that's awesome. And I'm really happy it's available for PC, first of all. Like, it is the real thing that captured me this past week, other than just the dragon fight, which was phenomenal, was how they've invested in Kratos' animations and his skill tree to upgrade alongside with the story. And that really struck me when there was this point where you just got done arguing with the boy, and you're starting to get on good terms again right after beating all those like bugs in the Light Temple, which were complete jackasses the whole time. Started doing
the elves, which is like, what a weird take on elves. I mean, maybe it's something from Norse mythology, which I know shit all about, but
I really liked it. I thought it was really fresh. It was a cool way to do the kind of the bug enemy while also having it take place in somewhere that's not corrupted all the time. It was fresh in that way.
Yeah, I just made it to Alfheim. I think I'm about to the final, the boss at the end of it. And I forgot. I was like, "Oh shit, the flying guys! I remember these assholes."
Yeah, they're jerks.
They swarm. They literally swarm, and if like, and it makes it really hard to time your counter, because there's so many of them.
And as you start to get better against those enemies, there's side quests that are harder, and there's main story content that might be easier because you've done the side quests. But in particular, I walked up to a box, and Kratos did this like turn to the camera and did it one-handed and like blew the whole lid off. Old God of War style. Like, not this like push, like bam, one-handed. And the boy's like, "Nice." And that was so, it's so cool to see aged, he's immortal likely, but out of practice Kratos, which was such an important part of that initial fight, like, "You don't have it anymore, old man," kind of in that initial throwdown. And as you go with the animations improving, with your bars increasing so your rages are more powerful and your skill tree going with it, you are becoming more and more the God of War again. And your combos unlock and your kill animations become more complicated. And it just adds to it. The gameplay is servicing the story in that way that I haven't seen an action game do this. Obviously, your Joel looks better as you have better guns and the but never do like the reload animations improve over the course of the game in something like that. This is something they've really hidden a lot of love in.
Yeah, it's detailed to the nth degree. I just forgot how good the combat is. It's some of my favorite combat.
And you grow with it too. As I get better at the game, it becomes better looking. Like, I sucked at managing my axe, and now I'm doing that like recall as soon as it's at the zenith. Is that the word? Like the maximum it should be at, so you get the bonus ice on your axe. So you're doing woo 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 woo, just like sending it out, pulling it back, sending it back, and then trips people on its way back, and you start comboing. And then there's like the stance business that I really don't understand at all. I don't even know how to change my stance. I keep getting abilities that talk about my stance. I don't know what it is. I need to Google it. But the dragon fight was incredible, but really this moment last night, which I'm gonna power up for a hot moment here, when you're getting to the world serpent and just its voice is so amazing. Let's see if I can get this guy talking. I love this guy. Oh no, he's still going for it. Where's he at?
Have a bit of an unpleasant history.
Yeah,
he's right here.
Anyway, so I guess waking up to see it was
and
worse
this
than the
voice
thought
actor's in a
lumps
ton of things. The
solid
guy who's playing
stone passing through his gullet.
Murmur?
You want me to ask him?
Mimir?
Mimir.
Our only concern.
He plays the villain in Mass Effect 1. What's his name? The Turian that you're dealing with.
Right,
Oh, I forget.
luck.
But this whole scene where like he's taught the head that you brought with him that's now enchanted is talking to the world serpent, and its nose is like working at the same time. Oh, I love that sound they did.
Oh,
for him.
dude, yeah, it's clearly influenced by like Tibetan like throat singing, but it's like so amped up beyond a level I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Like it is nuts.
It's just beautiful. They've given him so much emotion. Like I remember that initial Asmodan cutscene where they were talking about how they made this like he had like 4 lips and like they had to break his model to make him talk and bend over. It's just such an impressive feat, and I rarely see the seams in this game. There's a couple, like, you know, when you're fighting the dragon, there's lots of like, oh, he's in the stance, like hit his hand, and it happens. But they are covering those seams. I also think it's hilarious that technology keeps advancing, yet our load times are still the same. Like, this is just as long as I've ever had to crawl through a small space or press open a door.
Okay, so it released on the PS4.
Right.
So just because you now have it on a more powerful computer doesn't mean that the amount of graphics that they made for how long that tunnel is, they're going to shorten that.
That's what I'm saying. Is like no matter how far we go into the future, those tunnels are always going to be the same length because we just keep adding more to the background. The graphics keep getting more impressive. So we'll never get rid of those. But those are the seams I'm talking about. Like, who can really complain? Plus, now they added the boy in, so if you're like paddling around, you're telling stories. And there's some filler in there. I know I digested slightly that people were complaining about the boat being back in Ragnarok coming up, which I can see on multiple playthroughs, the boat being frustrating and kind of slow.
I love the boat.
Well, particularly like as they transform the open world by draining the lake, it's such an eloquent solution to having a hub world.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the boat. It's good. It's just like I loved in both Red Dead Redemptions when you go on a horse ride and you've got someone there and they do exposition as you're going to the next location. I think it's a smart way to do it in the game.
It's a very creative idea.
Oh, dude, I'm so excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to you about like finishing this game.
I'm working
Very
on
exciting.
it. I'm working on
Very
it.
exciting. This must be how everyone else feels watching us play Final Fantasy 14. Is how I feel listening to you play God of War 2018. So I'm like, dude, you don't even know. You don't even know. It gets so good.
Yeah.
Oh, and you love all of the old ones too. Like I'm like, the old God of Wars are fine, and I haven't even played most of them. And there's shit in there, man, that really harkens back to them. And I think you're gonna lose your shit.
I think I will. I love those old games, man. I thought they lost their direction a bit there, and particularly if did you ever play 3?
I own it. I think I played like 2 levels, and I was like, I'm not into this anymore.
They gave you Pandora in that game, who is your companion. You're like escorting her through the world of Olympus stuff. She is like she's a prototype for what the boy is now. And the fact that they took that scaffolding and improved it so thoroughly with this game is hugely impressive. Like there are a couple times where I'm like, that's a little canned boy. Like, maybe you weren't aware of like what was going on. You guys used a line from another thing. Oh, you're a little too joyous after what just happened. those things are going to happen, particularly in open world games. But it's so much advanced from that initial Pandora, who kind of badgered you a lot. And in particular, gave away hints a little too quickly. Boy does that sometimes. He'll be like, huh, I guess we can't go here right now. I'm like, damn it, boy. I'm experimenting here in the witch's basement. Yeah, I'm
First
aware.
of all, he has a name.
There's red stuff everywhere, and yeah, like I don't have a red arrow or something like that. But don't be so fast on the draw.
He has a name. It's Atreus.
Atreus, yes.
Yeah. No, I was doing well, you got to cut the plant diodes in Alfheim. And there's that one where there's a bunch of them, and I was like, "Shit, I don't remember this." And Atreus is like, "It's too hard. We should go." And he does a variation on that like 3 times in a row, and I'm like, "Atreus, shut the frick up!" And it was like the one like Kratos is so harsh to him in the early game, like to the point where I'm like, "Oh, be nice to your son." That was the one time where I was like, "Kratos, you were too easy on him. You should have like just told him to shut the f up."
Yeah,
But,
it's good kid writing. Like that's what kids.
It
do.
is good. Every voice actor I think is perfectly cast. It's some of the best performances I've seen in a video game, especially outside of like a Naughty Dog, because like Naughty Dog, you expect it at this point. Like they know how to get good performances and put them into video games. But what Santa Monica Studios pulled off with this game is it's still good. It still holds up. It's been 4 years now?
Yeah,
4 years since this came out. It looks like it could have come out today.
Are they working on anything else directly?
The sequel that's coming out in a few months.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how much of that spinny room is in the sequel and how much I get to do in this game. I've got no frame of reference for how many hours God of War 2018 is.
Yeah, folks are in the chat room asking what I thought of Niflheim. I don't even remember. I don't remember the name of all the Heims. Alfheim is in my mind because I just replayed it. I don't remember Niflheim, and I don't want to spoil anything for Kyle.
I just got the key to go to Fire World, and I'm currently working on another world right now.
Okay.
Well, they've got God of War on their website. I don't see. I mean, they're hiring your vision of voice. Like,
I think that's it. I think all they're doing is God of War.
Yeah, interesting. It's nice to have some video games. It's nice.
It is, and it's good timing because like there ain't shit coming out right now. Like the next big thing is God of War Ragnarok. That's like the next big release.
There's a couple I'm looking for. I'm really looking forward to Dark Tide. Like I thought the Vermintide series was an absolute blast.
Oh yeah, I like Vermintide enough, but like by the time I got on it, you were kind of done with it, and so I don't like playing those kind of games alone.
Yeah, well, they're spooky. They're also kind of spooky too. Like I don't want to play a shoot 'em up co-op by myself. I'm looking forward to here.
I'll totally jump into that with you.
Pull up a little game calendar here while we're having this
little discussion.
Yeah, because Overwatch 2 sometime soon. Let's see.
Yeah, chat room's talking about 6.2 and Final Fantasy 14. We you and I, we're as far as we're concerned, Shadowbringers is coming out.
Okay, we got Wrath Classic on September, so late September. Overwatch 2 is October, early October. Callisto Protocol, that's the one I couldn't remember the name of. I'm curious. They're giving away the gig a little too much in the trailer, and I'm worried they don't have a story to share. That's one of the scary space games. That the
new one from the original Dead Space devs?
I think it has some influence there. You have the health pack on your back. You're walking through. The monsters are very like, my face got messed up and now I'm scary, but not necessarily in like a xenomorph, necromorph kind of way.
They all blended together. I don't remember any of them really, other than the Dead Space remake.
Yes, Glenn Schofield, the co-creator of Dead Space, is leading that one.
Okay, that's the one. It's the space prison game, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, that's the one. It's the dude who did Dead Space.
It's got that problem, and we see this like in recent Jurassic Park movie trailers, right? Where they're just giving too much of the story away, and they're kind of showing off the stars a little too much. And you're like, you don't really have a movie, do you? There's not much.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Madden's coming out this month, Kyle.
Oh, right. Sick.
I mean, you're playing a game with LeBron James, so I just want to make sure you're aware. I know how much you love your sports games.
No.
Yeah, there's not a lot of heavy hitters. A lot of like kind of mid tier productions coming out. and things that I'm not entirely sure will hit their dates.
That's the other thing. There's a lot slated for the end of the year that could be really good, but doesn't sound like it's going to come out. I'm still waiting on Baldur's Gate 3.
We talked about Overwatch 2, if that's something you're interested in. There's a new No More Heroes? Or is this just oh wait, no, this is 3. 3's already out. Is this just a re-release for... Isn't it? Or is there only 2? It's been so long since I looked that up. Oh my god.
Oh, is that weird one that was on the Wii?
Yeah, No More Heroes was fun. Back in the day, I beat the first one. I had a lot of fun with that game. Yeah. Anyway, I digress. There will always be a Call of Duty, Kyle.
but it ain't worth much.
No, apparently it is not a must-have game. But let's open the mailbag before we wrap this up, shall we? That's the wrong bumper.
Hello there. Hello there.
Hello there.
Feedback at startgrindinggear.com is where you can send your emails, or we've got a lovely Discord community. You can drop us some questions in there. There's a question for the hosts, for our members and our patrons on there. Whether you're a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter, you will get access to that. So Harry writes in and says, are we going to get a wall of jobs for Final Fantasy 14? If not, what are your favorite and least favorite jobs you've tried so far? We'll assume you both said Red Mage was the best.
All right.
Yeah, no, I bounced off a Red Mage immediately.
I put some work into it. It's all right. All right.
Yeah, it's not. I was hoping for more rapier and less spell, but I mean, mage is literally in the name.
It's a little procky. Like you gotta wait on some certain buttons to happen on chance.
But let's do a little YouTube inside baseball.
Okay.
We haven't talked about a wall of jobs simply because it's a massive time commitment. Maybe in 10 years when we've maxed out every single job in the game. Never say never. But it is not currently on the docket.
Yeah, I would say when you start seeing job story videos or job standalone videos, after those are completed, then we could put those all together into the wall of jobs. But as that's production scheduling. As for like least and favorite job tried so far, what's yours?
Well, everyone knows Dark Knight's my favorite. It's what I'm sticking with. It's why when you were like, we should do different jobs for every expansion, I was like, fuck that. I just love it too much. It's among my favorite tanking I've ever done in an MMO, and I love tanking in an MMO. So Dark Knight's definitely my answer. Least favorite? I haven't really I don't have open to stain. No, you know what? No, Machinist. I don't like Machinist, Machinist. I don't really like Machinist. The guns in Final Fantasy 14 are a little goofy. I don't like Machinist.
I can only speak to the Elysian animations for it, but they don't have the weight of like a shotgun that I'd enjoy, and they're used one-handed, but they're rifles. So I have some barriers to entry there.
That bothers me. Yeah, exactly what you just said. Yeah, it's not a satisfying gun. It's not. It's like, if it's rifle length or like a two-handed, like, make me look like John Wick. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I just kind of look like a goofy, spindly person holding my gun out too far. I don't like it.
You know, I really felt that about Archer, but then I got into the job this past week and I realized that almost everything in there is instant cast. So that might be the case with like the Machinist Machinist. You're meant to be moving. And actually, Archer, when you're actively moving at the same time you're attacking, that's kind of badass. It's kind of like, the horse riding Archer is way cooler than someone just standing there with a bow. And in motion, I think the Archer is a lot cooler. And those animations now make sense in their tameness, particularly as you're knocking so many arrows back to back. So I'm exploring that job right now, and I thought it was lame at first, but now that I see the motion with it, I've changed my mind.
Yeah, it's fair. I think it's fair. Chat's saying you get a shotgun later.
I think you get like a flamethrower, like you're kind of changing out your weapon into more of an arsenal, and you might spend less time chilling on the rifle that we have a problem with. In which case, again, to like the idea of doing a wall of jobs for that game, we would have to get to the end, because also animations trade out. Some animations stay their original quality, and when you hit a certain level, they're like, okay, now you can have the brand new animation, which to me plays exactly like God of War there, what I was talking about. Like, animation should improve. In that way, I think World of Warcraft did a disservice to its content by saying, we've made new animations, and just overwriting. Like, level 1s all have better looking mind flay now. No, sprinkle that through, let my mind flay feel more impactful when I reach 30 and 60, and like work in those old animations. Use them as touchstones of power.
That's fair. Okay.
But I love Samurai. I've never liked a melee job in a game, and I think Samurai is absolutely phenomenal. I love the mini game of Astrologian.
I can tell.
But I've never ever liked a melee job or class in an MMO. I like them in RPGs. Oftentimes when I'm managing other people, I'm like, let's make my character the lamest thing on the planet, because I gotta manage Alistair and Morgan and whoever else is farting off in the wrong direction in the background. I don't got time to play a glass cannon on my main.
All right. Psychopez writes and says, what's a bit of media, game, novel, what have you, that no one knows about but everyone should experience? That's a loaded one, because then I have to decipher what I think no one knows about.
I would say it's more difficult in the other direction of deciphering something everyone should experience. Because you walk into the old folks' home and you're like, hey, everybody, I have this great story. It's about necromancers. It's it's going to have a barrier there. Might be a little difficult to explain why everyone should be reading.
That's fair. Let's assume people in this general circle.
Okay.
In this general circle. I don't know, man. I'm very basic. I feel like things I like are well known.
3.5 D&D is my answer.
Well, I've experienced that because I am friends with you.
There are so many people, thanks to Critical Role and this abundance of success that 5th edition with its accessibility and online character sheet making has had. But people don't know the intricate joy of, some might call it rules lawyering, but there's a certain aspect to, I have a fire spell. Can I start a campfire? And 5th edition will be like, not really. See, that targets enemies, and that's lame. If you have a fire spell, you should be able to start a campfire. And you should be able to read that paragraph of barrier to entry words and just nitty gritty really be like, there's that moment in Futurama even where they're making fun of D&D, but Bender fires fireballs at the water itself to create a cloud of steam to escape the dragon. Like, that's D&D. And 5th edition has done a lot right, and it's definitely improved accessibility to the game. But people are missing out.
Fair. I'm really hung up on the no one knows about. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because if it's just something people should watch, it's to me, it's the just wait, it gets better, and like I don't care how long it takes. You should watch the Clone Wars. Like that's my, I think everyone should experience it. Yeah. I think it makes the prequels good. Like that's my thought there. But the no one, I'm not a consumer of very many obscure things. Except when, like, I don't know, like music and stuff, and that's no, I don't think everyone should experience it. Don't think everyone should experience it. So yeah, that's all I got. Fjord Explorer says, related to the opinion on Emanation in this week's video, a lot of people still give the trial a pass solely due to the music, which I don't understand. I think the music's horrible. This is Garrett, me, editorializing. So my question is, regardless of the mechanics, of all the trials you've done so far, what is your favorite song? I think we talked about it in that video. What's the opening track on the Tsukiyomi fight? Because there's so many tracks in that one. The one with the piano.
Yeah, that's not Lunacy. It's the one that comes before it. I can use our files.
Oh, you're right. You could use our files.
Let's see here. I gotta go. Stormblood 4.3.
Dig through those premiere files.
Yeah. Okay. Part 3 is Wayward Daughter.
I'm gonna pause recording for just a second so I can edit this down.
We got to dig.
You get to enjoy it, video audience. Is it Wayward Daughter?
No, that's number 3. Trial. Night Bloom. Night Bloom.
I think it's Night Bloom. Hold on, let's see. Night Bloom. No, that is not it.
Cool. Then you're probably thinking about Wayward Daughter, which is the more bum bum. Well, Lunacy's the one with the like tickling the ivories.
Then it's Lunacy.
Cool.
Let me pull it up. I'm not recording yet. I am going to Stormblood Lunacy.
Hang on, I was gonna pull up my favorite song. I was gonna put it up on Spotify, but my son's currently listening to Gas, Gas, Gas on repeat. Probably while he runs around the house in circles. So I need to find the music elsewhere.
All right, YouTube, play a few bars off YouTube.
I've got it all here on my computer. I can grab.
All right, Kyle. Can you play Lunacy? Can you play a few bars of Lunacy?
Let's see. Let's do this. Oh, it might not come through to you. Is that coming through to you?
No, it is not. That's what I was hoping it would show up for the show.
It was the host. It was the hosting. I can do this. I can do this with routing. I got it. Here we go. Bam.
Oh yeah. Listen to that. It's fantastic. It's such a good arrangement. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for me to pick because I also love the ridiculous bombastic music in Final Fantasy XIV. So I would say it's that kind of represents like some of my favorite of just the actual like legitimately great music arrangements. But then my answer for bombastic ridiculousness is like metal. Metal from Alexander Raid.
Do you want metal Brute Justice or just metal?
Hit me with that Brute Justice version.
All right. So here's metal normal. Let's do the Brute Justice. Let's advance a little bit.
Yeah. Like, the beginning's the best part though with the horns.
Oh, and it just
right
there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that is the best part.
Oh yeah. Oh god damn, that song's good.
It's fun.
It's so good. So good. Final Fantasy XIV. What a embarrassment of riches.
I like Fiend, the Sephiroth theme, the Power Man 5000 song. That's my favorite. There's a lot of emotional tones I really like that really hit that epic moment, but this is just such a fun song. And it speaks to the kind of music I just like.
This really does sound like, did you ever listen to Power Man 5000 could go on the cringeworthy list?
Probably. I mean, really, did you really listen to it? They had, 2 songs you really knew about?
Yeah. I never really got into them, but
it's
it's okay.
Knowing the words to Barbie Girl, that doesn't make you a fan of whatever. What band?
I don't know who did Barbie Girl.
See, exactly. I would say Power Man 5000 is a one-hit wonder.
I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. No offense, Power Man 5000. No, they had two. I know there was one song that I always saw the music video of, and then there was Worlds Collide on Tony Hawk 2.
Yep, that was the one we're talking about. Worlds Collide.
Yeah, I never saw and I don't think I've ever seen the Worlds Collide video. I can't remember the song that was the music video that I always saw on MTV. Anyway.
Billboard 200 was Nobody's Real. I have no idea what Nobody's Real would sound like.
I got nothing. That was a good answer though, dude. Good answer. Arcady. This came to us from the Grinding Gear Discord. Okay, I got one for both of you. Which video game or video game series were your favorites growing up before college?
I loved KOTOR so much. It wasn't big, and the second one wasn't really all that good either. But oh man, I feel like being a big part of who you are has to be a part of the answer.
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about this on the vacation episodes, but like I think about to me like this is all like basically pre-college is pre-Xbox Live.
Yeah,
is the age you and I are at. So everything pre Xbox 360, but let's just call it pre-Xbox. Let's just keep Halo out of this discussion.
Okay.
Because Halo was formative, but Halo 1, there was no Xbox Live.
Yeah,
there was
but
like piggyback because it had network.
KOTOR was Xbox. That didn't come out in an era before
Yeah.
the Xbox.
Yeah, because for me, like we're looking at N64, we talked about one of them today. Smash Brothers
Yeah.
was that was a really big formative game for me. Ocarina of Time, that golden age of N64, Game Boy Color, like the original Pokemon. I was a huge Pokemon nerd, big time. Like got made fun of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of the reason they banned Pokemon cards at my school. Like it was a problem. I was obsessed. But yeah, Ocarina of Time, Pokemon, Super Smash Brothers, just that whole suite.
The Nintendo
there.
lineup.
Yeah, and then I graduated to finally to properly getting into PC games. We got our second ever family computer, and it could actually kind of run things. So I got really into Half-Life and the original Counter-Strike mod on a 56K modem, mind you. So yeah, playing Counter-Strike, yelling, "Mom, don't use the phone!"
Yep.
Yeah.
The StarCraft dialing, calling someone's phone number and having the computer pick up. That's true. I mean, that's more like, those are just like video game history things. That's a tough lineup. Like Super Smash Bros. Is where I learned to practice games, where I would prepare for sleepovers ahead of time. I would come up with my combos. I'd put the AI on max to what my friends were playing, and I would get ready. But Warcraft and that BattleNet custom map madness that came from Brood War and into Warcraft 3
Yeah.
was done entirely solo, which is kind of the weird, which is why it's not like a part of my personality when I think about it showing up in college, because it wasn't a social thing, but I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are my answers. Where did we go? Oh, that was it. I saw someone in chat ask what we'd like to see a remake of. And I'm trying to remember what this is in reference to. But me, we talked about it last week. I'm bummed that Knights of the Old Republic remake has been canned essentially or indefinitely put on hold.
Yeah.
Because I've never played the original Knights of the Old Republic and I would like to get through it. And yeah, it's kind of old and ugly now and the iPad version's terrible. So that's pretty high on my list of old games. It's another one that I think got canceled. Prince of Persia: Sands of Time.
Wait, did that get canceled? The remake?
I think it got canceled.
Oh no!
I think it's rumor. I don't think it's official from the studio, but I think it's rumor.
I wasn't swimming in faith for it that it was going to happen.
No,
but...
saying I wasn't swimming in faith that it was going to be good, but
yeah,
like a well done Sands of Time remake that's really high on my list. I love that game, and I even don't mind going back and playing the original. It doesn't look the best, but it's so stylized that I can suck it up.
It holds on. Yeah, I think stylized the right word for it. I knew that the KOTOR wouldn't be what it was, so I didn't really put any excitement into that because I assumed it's going to be more along the Fallen Order line of like hero third-person control-y combat business. Something a little more popular in that direction.
Yep. Okay. I could be into that. If I had more time to think about this, I think I would come up with some bangers.
Yeah. Clearly our faith is broken in remakes. I think there's a lot of...
Also, I finally got a big one. I always wanted the original Pokemon to be remade, and the Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee are pretty damn good remakes of those original Pokemon games. We got Black Mesa, which is a really cool fan-made update of the original Half-Life. Yeah, I don't want remakes. I want actual endings to the promises that were made. Hi, Half-Life, I'm talking to you.
That too.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll just play the original. I prefer Diablo to the original version as well. I think that was a good remaster as far as remasters go.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a really good example of like, oh, this is kind of what it looked like in my head.
Yeah.
Like they actually updated it to match my memory, which kind of always updates things a little bit. So Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. Send your emails to feedback@startgrindinggear.com. Thanks so much, everybody. We have so many questions. We're saving them. We'll get to them, or we might just end up doing a big ass mailbag bonus or something at some point. So we want to thank our badass patrons for supporting us on Patreon. You can support everything that Kyle and I are making by going to supportourbromance.com, and we just can't thank you enough for signing up over on the Patreon. Kyle, you got a little music? We got a lot of new patrons to thank. Yeah, you ready for this? All right. Oh, that's groovy. Mm-hmm. I like that. All right. Thank you, Robert Wu.
Thank you to Mnemonic Johnny.
Squid Peanut. I don't want to eat that peanut, but thank you for supporting us.
Alora Von Doom.
Dino Music. I recognize that name.
Matthew P.
Kevin Tan. Are you tanned, Kevin?
Linda.
Zoot.
Yak.
Bartleby.
Michael Hasko.
Catherine Churchward.
Evan Malone.
Christopher T.
Quentin Lowry.
Just Jeffrey. Jeffrey. No last name given.
The Spaceman Spiff.
I recognize that name.
Yeah.
Ryan M.
Michael W.
Jeremy D. Thanks, Jeremy.
Hayden Gant.
And Danny P. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, everybody.
And I believe we got some patrons during.
Oh.
We'll thank you next week.
Oh.
No, we'll take you next week. It's all right.
We'll
take you next week. We'll get you. We'll get you. And Kyle, there's a very special level of patrons that we thank each and every episode. Big thanks to our legendary level backers, Sean B., Mike R., Zero Lambda, Stephen J., and Ross A. Thank you for the support. Before we go, if you're listening to this on audio, go check out our YouTube, because Kyle and I put up new videos every Wednesday morning, and we stream every Monday and Thursday, and we are now live streaming this show as an extended part of our Thursday stream over at youtube.com/AMoveTV. That's AMOVETV. You can follow Kyle on Twitter at Kyle Ferguson. You can follow me on Twitter at Garrett Art. You can follow both of us at Garrett and Kyle on Twitter. That is the Twitter for this show and for everything that we do together as the fusion dance amalgam we have become.
It ain't wrong. It ain't wrong, man.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Grinding Gear podcast. Until next time, GG. Are you going to say take care?
Oh, shit. Take care.